are beautiful clouds where you are. That's how I know that these worries will not last. I can see you've been crying and staying wide awake, asking yourself why the journey is so tough. They say tough times never last, only tough people do. So don't stop believing, I know it's gonna be better. Say la, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, boom, la, 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 ba-dum. Can't be loved by everybody, it's impossible, you know. And trust me, it's okay, so the toxic people go. Your peace within is more priceless than a pearl. You got to be happy, cause life's just way too short. Don't stress the little things, they will only waste your time. Just take it easy, easy like a nursery rhyme. And I'm singing, know it's gonna be okay. So wanna see you smile today. Hey, you just gotta be happy, man. Good days, bad days, it's all part of life. But you must keep the groove on and enjoy every single day. I'm sure you've had some happy days before. So what makes you think you can't have more? Can't have more. Keep on fighting and you see, you will soon see rainbows. Hey, come on! La, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, boom, la, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, boom, la, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, boom, la, 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 la. Around the way. Beautiful clouds, where you are, where you are. There are beautiful clouds, where you are, where you are. Oh, oh.
Bawumia was he in charge of the economy? The macro economy? Was he in charge? Or my Hinuchi said Bawumia was in charge. Only had a finance minister appointed a crew of about 14 people to manage the city. It's okay. Huh? Any pay be a mukasa asemi ende. No man a deep parliament for him to demand the resignation of the finance minister because of the economy. NDC for a party who were on a move motion of censure of parliament to remove the finance minister because of the economy. It is about me in charge of the economy. I don't know this Obama finance minister. I don't think any penny be a normally about me a pray no. Only the MPs. See any finance minister for real time free hub because economy na say.
Me metuma ba ama me ho one as former general secretary. Me de me tumufu. You see the order for me. When he aviase, on strivers. Me 10 years more power in na mu say bu me dinda. 2020 President Akufo-Addo ono na frɛ me fa phone. Frɛ me say me boa no me nya de me yema no 1998. Minini chingana he nyina ye be pay mu ha and I'm ready. Obobo nipa na me din kan ho. But what is me come say
any grudge. Me, I can't do anything to him. I don't have the power to do anything to him. I leave him to God. If there is a day of judgment, which I believe there is, it will be an interesting day for us all to present our cases to the Almighty to judge us.
But was it true you had a president in your pocket?
I never said that. Please, I challenge you on this network. Within one day, the end of the day, produce evidence that I said the president was in my pocket. I never said that. I never said that anywhere. But that allegation has gained so much notoriety that it will be illogical for me to even stand up to contradict it. But you are a journalist. Prove it. Call Anas and ask him to give you the evidence before the end of today and publish it for every Ghanaian to see. It was the figment of somebody's imagination just to discredit me and let me look very bad in the eyes of the public. And they succeeded. They succeeded.
I approached my boss when we had this crisis, as I saw our foreign exchange reserves continually dwindling. I approached my boss and suggested a novel way as a solution to the shortage of foreign exchange. I proposed that we leverage on gold to produce directly in exchange for the essential goods we import. He gave me the go-ahead to pilot the one critical import, petroleum products, the shortage of which would have completely derailed our economy. And that is what resulted in gold for oil. I am happy to say that the two policies that have helped rescue the economy from catastrophe in the recent crisis were the Bank of Ghana's domestic gold purchase program, which I proposed, and the gold for oil program. The pilot, these two policies, the pilot has worked for a number of companies and has worked for the countries. Some companies which wanted to repatriate dividends and couldn't do so because of foreign exchange constraints have suddenly been able to do so because of the gold purchase program. We have thus found a solution in the midst of this crisis and bringing together the pilot of this gold for oil and gold purchase programs. We have thus, through this crisis, we have suddenly found a solution to the profit repatriation problem that many businesses had without destabilizing our local currency. This also brings major comfort to foreign investors operating in our countries. I believe from the success of the pilot scheme we can confidently say that we have found a solution to the age-old foreign exchange problem that successive governments have struggled to contain, and which invariably led to inflation and other macroeconomic challenges. My government will completely institutionalize what I will call the Gold for Forex program, even as we intensify efforts to transform the structure of the Ghanaian economy. Simply put, the domestic gold purchase program is a policy which allows the Bank of Ghana to boost our foreign exchange reserves by buying locally produced gold with cedis. Gold purchases from this program alone amounted to $5 billion in the last couple of years. With Ghana's unexplored gold reserves estimated at 5 billion ounces, with a market value of 10 trillion US dollars, my government will ramp up the gold purchase program to cover all major forex demands. We will cover all major forex demands with the gold purchase program. Put simply, if, for example, a company wants dollars, we will take their cedis and we will buy gold and we will give them their foreign currency. The gold purchase program will therefore provide the anchor that our local currency has always lacked.
I left secondary school, sixth form, as a young introvert, not very expressive, didn't like to make too many friends, and walked through these gates. And incidentally, I entered here and ended up in Commonwealth Hall by mistake. Our teachers, who were national service persons, always indoctrinated us to choose the halls that they had been in when they were in university. And incidentally, in the University of Ghana, at the time that we were finishing sixth form, most of our national service personnel were from Legon, Mensa Saba, and Ekwafo Hall. And so, as usual, they demonized Commonwealth Hall and said it was a hall of rascals, you know, students who were very misbehaved and all that, and that if you choose Commonwealth Hall, you would become demonized. And so we were required in our university forms to choose our halls of residence in order of preference. And so based on this indoctrination, I chose Legon Hall first, Mensa Saba second, don't clap yet, Ekwafo Hall third, and Commonwealth Hall last. Apparently that year, the university had taken a decision that anybody who chose Commonwealth Hall first will not be given Commonwealth Hall. And all those who chose Commonwealth Hall last will be sent to Commonwealth Hall. So I ended up in Vandal City, a very shy young man. Today, if I can stand before 100,000 people and say whatever I want, is what Commonwealth Hall made me into. It made me an extrovert, it made me expressive. I participated in all the activities of Commonwealth Hall, including ponding people, you know, singing at our Bacchus shrine. And I was put in 835. 836 was my first room, and I shared the room with Boedwa Yeboafo of Graphic Corporation. And when I came back from my postgraduate, I was put in J40, and I shared my room with my friend Nto Boahem. But like I said, I always feel a sense of nostalgia. I also wrote exams here. We took part in the Mfojo Yensro demonstrations always before exams to boost our courage, to write the exams properly. And so I want to thank those who have come after us, including our current Vice Chancellor, for all they're doing to continue to maintain the reputation of this great institution.
I want to ask you all this question. Do you think if NDC uses me as their flag bearer, Ashanti region will vote for NDC? I'm asking again. Do you think, with all my knowledge, I know Ghanaians trust me, that's why I feel I may be wrong. They know I have integrity. I've been doing politics for almost 30 years. Do you think if NDC uses me as their flag bearer, Ashanti region will vote for NDC? No, because Ashanti region generally likes MPP, not NDC. Let's analyze these things. It's about a chance of winning. Maybe if it had been only my vote, maybe I wouldn't have voted for the one I'm supporting. But it's about MPP's chance of winning. It goes beyond my vote. The question is, if Stephen Amwa is actually on the ticket of NDC, contesting for the position of a president, I'm asking you again, will Ashanti region vote for me? No.
I'll ask my audience. I'll bring you the answers.
No, they will not vote for me. Because Ashanti region generally, largely, they don't like NDC. The same way. Let's not deceive ourselves. And we are not saying that for one candidate or other candidate, you will never win. Between me and Kudus, if national team is looking for a striker, I'm a football player. I used to play Coast 4, 6, 8. I'm being honest with you. But in terms of season, they will call Kudus. So our message to the delegates is that our chance of winning, obviously Kennedy, is almost everywhere, unless you're a liar. If you're a liar, that's fine. If I'm lying, God will deal with me. Because I won't come and stand here and lie to Ghanaians. So our chance of winning with Kennedy, in terms of balance of probability, is the highest and the biggest. And power first. You could be the best pilot if you don't have any plane. Can you fly? So, boss, the basic and the most important factor is our chance of winning. And that is why they say that, Oseye Kennedy, Oseye Kennedy, ma weninji sewuye connected, ma weninji sewupe Kennedy, and one yek. Kennedy, by the grace of God, for the sake of this country and MPP, trust me, he's won this election. You can bet with me. God bless you.
Thank you. You're a good singer.
Yeah. Oh, my voice is not good.
In his first visit to Ghana after assuming his tour of duty as Deputy Assistant Secretary for West Africa, William B. Stevens joined the U.S. Embassy's media roundtable here in Accra that sought to discuss emerging issues of mutual importance. A burning question on the table was about President Trump's policy on immigration.
But broadly, when you say deportations, that's talking about people from Ghana who have been in America who are now being sent back to Ghana. So we're deporting them back home to Ghana. And that is broadly, or any country, right? They've come to our country. They may have violated an immigration law. They've stayed illegally. They may have committed a crime and served their time and now are being sent home because they're no longer have valid status as a non-immigrant in the United States. So that's that. Then you have these people who have come to the United States and have abused the migration system, but have, for some reason or another, an inability to go home to their home country. And that is, and then finally we have and I don't believe this applies in Ghana, but we have people who are coming to the United States to seek refugee status. And essentially, we're asking for some countries around the world to say, well, we know that the United States doesn't have room at the moment for these refugees. Would you be willing to go to? And then we have entered into agreements with countries around the world where people can go as what's called a safe third country agreement, where they can go and say, well, I can't be a refugee in the United States, but perhaps I could go to Malawi. I'm making it up. But, and we believe that some people would say, well, actually, I just really wanted to go to the United States.
Akase yakoko ena yakodi nkunim akase ye chiche imu adodode ebra ye campaign no na obi bia nimse anya hwekura menya DC anya hwekura menya minister anya hwekura menya school feeding de beba wajirmu bia no na odi aya obotai na ujira so now the campaign na bushafo na kureda mu ne ewo mu ne se President Mahama okosuru ba from kura no a enkoye possible say obenya appointments e dia ma party ma mo fata appointments ni nyina enye possible me pa cho se odi nsusu ye ba say MPP for minister for a dog son do no. Nya ni mu nyina na ka kire nse oba on tesu na enko system. Anya ne mo na kai. Wa ka bit afro abacha mi ame. Ya ne mo nyina na kai. 7,000 and go winning, go minister 4,000, come be a view. Other than one coming in sell 1,000 and couldn't deal no emma. More money says sister no, and I didn't couldn't deal no beba. Now, I somewhere home they said, Obia sister no. Now, on one in the one free muse, maybe they're free more now, 59. That's no. Oh, yeah, no, BBBI, and no, this sister, no. Yakai, no, and one necessary what the Eduma, and what the Eduma. Appointment to Dwana, Akanina, Yakasi, a better so, you better so. And also, what did not crack, Amiati so. And dear, Yabedru says here, you know. Temporary no MPP for no cry S3 say outside gentility home cry ye je body wa bonte so say NDC ani mama mu nsa no enso bia je no deputy minister die kamenya bia kan yo enso enti die wanya no ye de ba for the say ebema amamu no anya dimpa amamu nya dimpa na etranso cha woni se minister nya ba akofo na edi o DC nya ba akofo na edi enti so obi di ni de enne na ye transo cha Ono be free hɔ ama foforɔ so aba. Ebi a foforɔ ɛbɛba no na ɛyɛ woa. Na yɛanyɛ no saa ne ɛka sɛ animu yi a ɛsɛ sɛ yɛn nyinaa obiara nya bi. Na ɛnyɛ possible sɛ obiara bɛnya bi a deɛ ɛbɛba ne sɛ yɛbɛgu aban no. Yɛgu aban no na wɔn san deɛ ɛkɔtena opposition a ɛnyɛ Baumi anaa Kennedy Agyapong ɛna ɔba abɛfa wo abɛyɛ DC anaasɛ minister o. Yɛbɛsan akɔtena baabi a na yɛwɔ a Ghanafoɔ kɔfa a yɛbaeɛ no. Nti yɛbɛsrɛ mo yɛn nsɛm no a yɛde toto abɔnten no yɛnhwɛ no yie. MPP foɔ adwuma a wɔn nim yɛ paa ɛyɛ ehuro. Na wɔn bɛhuru nipa bi a wɔn bɛhuru mo koraa kyɛn baabi. Efisɛ ha no wɔn nim sɛ ɛyɛ wɔn stronghold. Mo abɔ wɔn yam. Eti ohyia wo a agya ɛsi school feeding no koraa yɛ ama o. Mɛbɔ a yɛaka kyerɛ mo. Ɛno na wɔn bɛka. Eti bra wo bre yɛ nyinaa wɔwie yɛ ni. Sakre dada no a na ofro no wɔ mpɔtam ha no a uwi ni yɛ kɔ soro ba afɔ mu nyinaa no nyɛ sakre dada no a na ɔte so. Ɔboa ɛte sɛ ɔbaa kɔ awadeɛ na ne kunu abɔ na kɔnhoma na ɔde akɔ akɔkyerɛ n'adamfo a ɔno ne kunu sɛ ma kɔnhoma no ɔma me 1,000 pɛ. Na 1,000 wei na ɔte ho. Me anka magya dadaada. Ɛnso ɔboa. Da wobɛgya yɛ akɔtena fie. Ahokyerɛ nti w'abusuafoɔ bɛka sɛ ɛnea yɛkɔpa kyɛw no. Wobɛkɔ akɔbɔ punu mu no. Nipa wobɛpie ɛyɛ w'adamfo no a ɔka kyerɛ wo sɛ 1,000 no nyɛ no.
Let me talk about the Women's Bank.
Okay,
the last
so that,
one.
yes, so that I bring
the Women's Bank, which I was so passionate about.
Yes.
Because, come to think of it, this Women's Bank idea, President Mahama picked, is my brainchild. It's not him. Hey. He just used the Women's Bank on it.
When you say
2020 election, I came out with a statement. It's in the media.
Okay.
And I said, if our party comes to power, that time I was in PNC. I said when the PNC comes to power, one of the things we will do is to order commercial bank, NIB and ADB to give loans with low interest rate to market women to do their businesses.
How is that
because,
Women's Development Bank?
And then the president comes in that he is rather using a Women's Development. Where is the Women's Development Bank? I'm going to give a simple advice to the president. He can start this women's bank in commercial bank because the commercial bank has structures in all the 261 districts. So he can pick just a place and call it Women's Bank, and they will start distributing money to our women.
Paul Adomoture did a show here where he said a Stanford lawyer and you are afraid of lawyers in America. I'm not afraid of them.
He's not the only one who was unhappy.
No, but nobody ought to be unhappy because John Ashcroft, the former attorney, general of the United States of America, all right, called me and said he was the one representing, Ken Ofori-Atta in the matter. But his concerns, that the reason he called me was for me to assure him that when Ken is returned to Ghana, all right, he will get a fair trial. And I assured him of the fact that under this government, and in accordance with Article 19 of the Constitution, his right to a fair trial is guaranteed. No one is going to, Ken Ofori-Atta is not he's not the person that will come here and we're going to treat him very shabbily and so on and so forth. He will be accorded due process of law, his fair trial rights will be guaranteed and so on. So I talked with John Ashcroft, but at the time, I could not, including the lawyer, Isinat, the lawyer who granted the interview.
That's right.
So there were three of them, three lawyers who spoke to me via, a Zoom on that day when they were expressing concerns, okay? So at that point in time, it was confidential. I could not mention John Ashcroft as his lawyer, all right? But I was simply saying.
Who say resign? Will you resign because of going to the IMF when you said we're not going to the IMF?
That's not a very good question. You know, it's almost like telling a father to resign from his children because he's changed his mind. You know, there are times that decisions have to be made for the survival of a country. Well,
who say resign? Will you resign because of going to the IMF when you said we're not going to the IMF?
That's not a very good question. You know, it's almost like telling a father to resign from his children because he's changed his mind. You know, there are times that decisions have to be made for the survival of a country. Well,
who say resign? Will you resign because of going to the IMF when you said we're not going to the IMF?
That's not a very good question. You know, it's almost like telling a father to resign from his children because he's changed his mind. You know, there are times that decisions have to be made for the survival of a country.
Government is broke, government is broke. But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Okay, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us on the show. This is Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Aldo, and it's always a pleasure to come your way. It's a fantastic Monday morning. It's the start of the week, and I hope that this week is better than last week. Today is the 12th of January 2026, and this is the day the Lord has made. Indeed, we're glad in it. And we want to say a big thanks to the Almighty God for giving us that rare privilege of returning here to join the nation's conversation on the big issues that are making the rounds in our dear country, Ghana. And I say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I'll go straight ahead and look at what the newspapers are reporting today. And as always, I'll start with the Daily Graphic newspaper today. So the Daily Graphic, this newspaper is reporting government clears 1.47 billion US dollars energy sector debts, renegotiates IPP's contracts. Oforiatta declines Ghanaian embassy support unless, and as President hails Graphic as credibility standard. President directs NLA KGL contract review. There's KGL Technology welcomes move, commits to more value. That's with the Daily Graphic. Now, the Daily Statesman is reporting that Kuka NPP flag bearer election outcome will unite party. Bamia campaign in high momentum. Key NPP members offer support for flag bearer bid. KK Sapon rally support for Ken Ejepong. KGL renews commitment to NLA GRA over contract review. Adrasafo Foundation support Hope Way Orphanage. And there's 7 nabbed in major highway robbery bust. The Inquisitor, fixing the G40 puzzle. Everstone Energy unveiled. KGL welcomes review, vows to deliver more value to NLA, GRA. There's NPA boss speaks at 77th New Year School. Police arrest 7 deadly highway robbery gang. David Tamaklo's father is dead. David, accept our heartfelt commiserations for that. Yeah, David is a very good friend of mine. Sorry about that, sir. Thank you. Sorry. Anyway, I'll go to the Ghanaian Times. The Ghanaian Times this morning reports that President Mahama orders review of NLA KGL contract. And there's Ken Oforiatta to appear before U.S. immigration judge January 20, according to AG. SNIT increases monthly pensions by 10%, but CSPF says it is inadequate. Deposit mobilization strategy strengthens NIB PLC's financial performance. Daily Guide. Ghana Embassy confirms Oforiatta's U.S. detention. 2024 NPP PCs endorsed Bawumia. My presidency will be about jobs. Ken, 7 highway robbers nabbed, and as KGL welcomes government contract review. The Insight. KGL welcomes review committed to delivering more value to NLA GRA. Low-income pensioners get a major boost as Senate raises minimum pension by 36.52% for 2026. Lands Minister secures government assets, vows to rescue abandoned project. Now, towards resetting Ghana, Mahama outlines 5-pillar agenda. The South Shore University College announces rebranding, official launch in Accra. Protesters urge UK government to grow a spine and stand up to Trump. 170 delegates of anti-imperialist forces launch united front against U.S. aggression in Venezuela and bullying, gangsterism of countries towards a third world war. The Herald. AG's multiple claims on Oforiatta's detention over U.S. visa status confusing. Ayine rubbishes typographical error excuse in drip procurement, says 22 million cedis tax evasion, $2 million overpayment transaction confirmed. And then there's police grab highway robbery gang operating across 3 regions. Gonja chief blocks NDC MP's burial over land dispute. Raphael Makbo hails rapid progress on South Daye Road works. And yes, so basically that's it. And the government earned 300 million cedis from KGL in 2025 amid review of NLA agreement. The Ghanaian publisher, Ken can lead MPP to victory, Dr. KK Sapong. NPP raised 118 former candidates endorsed Bawumia. There's KGL backs review of NLA. There's a police grab 7 highway robbers. Metro Lens. Police nab 7 highway robbers in Accra and Eastern regions. There's KGL welcomes review, committed to delivering more value to NLA and GRA. NPP loyal ladies feed Accra's vulnerable. There's Ewukugwa Trafuhene loses mom. Journalist strangled, beaten by 2 police officers in Achim Tafo. This thing must stop. This thing must stop. Why do you beat journalists? You're just doing their job. Anyway. The custodian says that KGL backs contract review, committed to adding value to NLE and GRA. Bawumia is NPP's best bet for 2028, 118 pieces of firm. 70% of Gexim loans for poultry, rice, garments production. CEO Ken promises jobs under his presidency. Minority decries choking insecurity under Mahama. Police arrest 7 notorious highway robbers. Daily Post. Deposit mobilization strategy drives NIB PLC's performance. Oforiatta could be in Ghana sooner than expected. Deputy AG reveals. And there's no Ghana card, no forex transaction. Government announces new measures in anti-money laundering drive. And the last, but certainly and most definitely not the least, is the Business and Financial Times. So the Business and Financial Times this morning is reporting Bernard JB appointed UBA CEO Daniel Sapong as Executive Director. Why the disinflation story is only an opening act. There's microfinance revamp on course, BOG, and there's True Dare customs deal raises questions over duplication with existing ICOMS platform. And as GRA, Guta agreed 20% VAT charge till end Q1. All right, so that's it for the newspaper, the front page of the newspapers. Now let's check out what's on Metro TV online.com. $1 billion energy sector debt restores World Bank guarantee, and a host of other stories. As you can see, please go out there and check out the latest on metrotvonline.com. and let us know how the experience has been like. All right, so keep watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. Please don't go anywhere.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
I'm a branch manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable printing.
Brush, 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 brush your teeth. Brush, 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 2 times a day. Brush with Kel-Kit.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kel-Kit Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky chicky whiter, chicky chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kel-Kit, happy smile.
Chia winning Nara, me ding edge baby dapa, me dear sonko crane bremo. Now the 20 animal with the ed depana me de bremo. And no any summer spices. Summer spices in here, and we wow no mebreo, various flavors. Ubenya a yako, Ubenya nemchi, you do good jollof woman and we yet dead. Ubenya you do quam, you do for you. Hot nako pibito, na Emma with Gianni, and yet dead. When you mean ya, young con your go put you for Eka.
Down with your communication, you all enjoy Uduba, that Samu spices. One in the essence of time. Samu spices in a Sabi, Daddy so say. Samu spices, Moon Samu.
Samu spices, Yama chicken.
Samu spices,
In Sanaka in Kitswa, measure 10 grams. Your chicken, spaghetti, garlic and ginger, stew, and jollof, and the flavors of Bebre.
Samu spices, yes, Saka.
The festive season is here again, and your most preferred estate partner is giving you 25% discount on land sale. Yes, for our Bronya Asase promo, Estate Masters is offering this massive discount for outright purchases. This includes free indenture, free site plan, and a free site visit. So what are you waiting for? Rush now and secure a plot of land while it is still hot. Reach out to us using the numbers below or visit our website at www.estatemastersgh.com. Estate Masters, your most preferred estate partner.
Paul Adomochuri did a show here where he said a Stanford lawyer and you are afraid of lawyers in America. I'm not afraid of them.
He's not the only one who was unhappy.
No, but nobody ought to be unhappy because John Ashcroft, the former attorney, general of the United States of America, all right, called me and said he was the one representing, Ken Ofori-Atta in the matter. But his concerns, that the reason he called me was for me to assure him that when Ken is returned to Ghana, all right, he will get a fair trial. And I assured him of the fact that under this government, and in accordance with Article 19 of the Constitution, his right to a fair trial is guaranteed. No one is going to, Ken Ofori-Atta is not he's not the person that will come here and we're going to treat him very shabbily and so on and so forth. He will be accorded due process of law. His fair trial rights will be guaranteed and so on. So I talked with John Ashcroft, but at the time, I could not, including the lawyer, Isinat, the lawyer who granted the interview.
That's right.
So there were three of them, three lawyers who spoke to me via, a Zoom on that day when they were expressing concerns. Okay. So at that point in time, it was confidential. I could not mention John Ashcroft as his lawyer. All right. But I was simply saying, Paul Adomochuri did a show here where he said a Stanford lawyer and you are afraid of lawyers in America. I'm not afraid of them.
He's not the only one who was unhappy.
No, but nobody ought to be unhappy because John Ashcroft, the former attorney, general of the United States of America, all right, called me and said he was the one representing Ken Ofori-Atta in the matter. But his concerns, that the reason he called me was for me to assure him that when Ken is returned to Ghana, all right, he will get a fair trial. And I assured him of the fact that under this government, and in accordance with Article 19 of the Constitution, his right to a fair trial is guaranteed. No one is going to, Ken Ofori-Atta is not he's not the person that will come here and we're going to treat him very shabbily and so on and so forth. He will be accorded due process of law. His fair trial rights will be guaranteed and so on. So I talked with John Ashcroft, but at the time, I could not, including the lawyer Isinat, the lawyer who granted the interview.
That's right.
So there were three of them, three lawyers who spoke to me via, a Zoom on that day when they were expressing concerns. Okay. So at that point in time, it was confidential. I could not mention John Ashcroft as his lawyer. All right. But I was simply saying, Paul Adomochuri did a show here where he said a Stanford lawyer and you are afraid of lawyers in America. I'm not afraid of them.
He's not the only one who was unhappy.
No, but nobody ought to be unhappy because John Ashcroft, the former attorney, general of the United States of America, all right, called me and said he was the one representing Ken Ofori-Atta in the matter. But his concerns, that the reason he called me was for me to assure him that when Ken is returned to Ghana, all right, he will get a fair trial. And I assured him of the fact that under this government, and in accordance with Article 19 of the Constitution, his right to a fair trial is guaranteed. No one is going to, Ken Ofori-Atta is not he's not the person that will come here and we're going to treat him very shabbily and so on and so forth. He will be accorded due process of law. His fair trial rights will be guaranteed and so on. So I talked with John Ashcroft, but at the time...
So what's fueling my anger is that, as I stated clearly, and most Ghanaians by now have come to join the fray. They've joined the fray because Kissi Agyabeng subsequently came to admit that he saw Ofori-Atta leave. And even before the departure, he said he had intercepted the letter that Ofori-Atta wrote to the outgoing chief of staff and the incoming chief of staff. Right? So once he stated that, and also stated that he had gone to the security agencies for help and didn't get same, which has turned out to be palpably false. Naturally, as a citizen, I'll be angry, extremely angry. And natural fact, it had been simmering for a while because I'd heard, like we say in Ghana, you know, but each time they'll be like, hey, listen, if you go out with it, they will ask you for evidence. If you go out with this allegation, they will ask for evidence. So it's good riddance that eventually he came to admit that, look, he saw Ofori-Atta go. He even had the letter. And I said, then that is the right time that he has to leave, because what better evidence we have than a confession? Thank God there are quite a number of lawyers. I see some in the audience.
The confession was to tell Ghanaians that he couldn't do anything about it.
Oh, but that's hogwash, absolute hogwash. We've shown that he could have done a press conference. We've shown that he could have done a press conference, and the law mandates him to do that. And he had done Ankwa Numa Part 1, and so we wanted Ankwa Numa Part 2. So if he had done a press conference, and you see, it's constitutional. Asking him to come and inform our citizens is constitutional. You find it in the preamble to the Constitution, Article 1, Article 35, and Article 125. That is sovereignty. Sovereignty resides in the people, okay, and for whose benefit and welfare the powers of government are exercised. So if you're exercising your statutory powers and you get challenges and no other institution will help you, come back to the owners of the land. This is deep political theory. It's not just constitutional theory. Ask the political experts. On Saturday, you heard Professor Jampo bringing the political science angle. So it's a governance issue. So we shouldn't be sitting here joking, please. And so in that light, tomorrow there's a citizen who is going on a demonstration. Apostle Abraham Lincoln Labi. We should join him, 7:30 at the Brassport. If you don't, it means you are not protecting the Constitution. If you want to protect the Constitution, tomorrow you should be at the demonstration. The special prosecutor comes to tell you that he saw the most valuable suspect. Like in football, you say most valuable player, right? In this one, we say most valuable suspect fleeing the country. And he chooses not to inform the citizens and kept quiet until citizens kept making noise, putting pressure. Then about 10 months on, 5th of November, he now comes to spill the beans. You don't have a special prosecutor. You don't have one. You don't have one.
Earlier, we had Mr. Michael Kwame Boadi with the Transparency International. He listed a number of challenges with our institutions and why we are where we are. Yeah. One of the things he talked about was the need for us to strengthen our institutions. And he gave examples. You don't think that perhaps the special prosecutor has found himself in this situation because he and the act that established him, they don't feel empowered enough?
Not at all.
Strengthened enough?
Not at all, Beatrice. Beatrice, I don't agree. Beatrice, if we open the Special Prosecutor Act right now, right, we would read to you that the Special Prosecutor has police powers. So they said that he went to NIB. Do you know that NIB that by itself doesn't even arrest? The people at NIB who are arrested are actually policemen. When you read the Securities and Intelligence Agencies Act, NIB is an intelligence agency. NIB is not super police. They are not the senior brothers to the Ghana Police Service. They are to gather intelligence, but then as part of their work, then they collaborate with the Ghana Police Service. So the people who arrest, the NIB officers who do the arrest, etc., are actually Ghana Police Service personnel, right? So it's just a ruse. And have you seen the write-up Manasseh did? You know, I earlier on said that I checked with NIB, and they said it's a lie. Kisi never came there asking for any help. And today, Manasseh has corroborated me. He's also done his checks. Just this morning, he's put it out there. So it's a palpable falsehood. Look, it fits into that thing that he's a double agent. He was fighting and still fighting to help Akufo-Addo appointees. Pure and simple. We will continue to make that noise. At least this particular case vindicates me. The Ofori-Atta is Akufo-Addo's cousin and Akufo-Addo's appointee. You see, sometimes I think the law, this time about every time, go and bring hard evidence. It's allowing too many criminals to escape. Because we always knew it. You know, from the one, people kept saying that, look, Kisi Ejabin can't do this job. He's too conflicted. Look, Beatrice, you can go interview Kisi. Ask him, has he ever been in meetings with Ofori-Atta where financial decisions were made? He knows what I'm talking about. Has he worked for Ofori-Atta? Has he worked for Gabi? How can such a person investigate Ofori-Atta? How can such a person investigate Ofori-Atta? We're just going to lose. We'll lose a court case, some of the charges. Because, look, let me mention, causing financial loss. Who gave him that authority to do causing financial loss? That power belongs to the Attorney General. you know, when the Cecilia Dapa matter came, he said that he's not empowered to do money laundering. So he was sending the docket to Iyoko. And then he even gave the money back to Cecilia Dapa when he could have taken, of course, he would say court order. But my point is that this time, why is he going ahead with causing financial loss when that one he doesn't have the power?
The law binds us all, and the law is the law is the law. Those who said, and the law is the law, did not complete the sentence. The law is the law is the law. That is the sentence. As
no matter how many noises are made, the law is the law.
Kenneth, would Jesus be happy with you on the way you've managed the economy? Finally.
I think it's an issue of willingness and obedience to what Christ would like us to do. Honest, good job done over that period, yes. Holy Spirit guiding us to the things we do, yes. Am I confident that He's leading us in the right direction? Unequivocally. I think difficult times, His power will emanate, and I'm very confident about where He will take us.
So Jesus is happy with you with how you manage the economy?
You know, it's very difficult to think that one will be holy enough for total acceptance. You're constantly praying that you have the courage and the spirit to go on. But more importantly, you know, in all of this technical stuff, there's a clear love for country and understanding of what somebody like me could become finance minister, and therefore who in Fantiakwa could also do that. And therefore, what should we be doing 18 hours a day to ensure we give that opportunity to people to be able to get to the levels that we are.
Ken,
so
would Jesus be happy with you on how you manage the economy?
It's up to Jesus to declare.
That's what Jesus to declare.
I can do the best that I can, but I'm very just honored and blessed to have this position, and mine is to obey and do the best I can, you know, with His guidance.
So say resign. Will you resign because of going to the IMF when you said you were not going to the IMF?
That's not a very good question. You know, it's almost like telling a father to resign from his children because he's changed his mind. You know, there are times that decisions have to be made for the survival of a country.
Good morning, Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Aldo Moro. This show is also live on 94.1 FM. My guest is seated and the conversation will start in earnest. So joining me this morning is a man who has been a lawyer and in good standing for many, many, many years, and a member of the NDC's legal directorate, private legal practitioner, as I did mention. A very good friend of mine. He's almost like in fact, he's a senior brother of mine. We go way, 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 way back, many, many, many years. And he's made time to join us this morning. I'm talking about the man, Victor Kojoga Adawudu. He's here with us. Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, Moro, and thank you for providing this platform for us. This is a big platform that we don't take lightly.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. And we're always happy and glad that you make time to join us, because like I've always said, without you, when I see you, I see yourself and many other distinguished ladies and gentlemen who join us on this platform, we don't have a show. So we're always happy that you're able to make time, despite the fact that you have a very, very, very busy schedule. I mean, I think that is trite knowledge that you are one of the most sought after private legal practitioners in this country. And then what some people don't even know is that you don't pick and choose. When people come with their problem, you help them. It doesn't matter whether it's MPP, NDC, and that's one of the things that I admire about you. Please keep it up.
Thanks. What humbles me is that God could have decided to choose anybody to be a lawyer.
Right.
But if you have been chosen, then it is a duty to provide service to everybody without fear or favor. So that's what we try to do. But the downside is that sometimes you are concentrating on people solving your problem, and you yourself and your family bears the brand.
It's not
but
easy.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
But anyway, kudos. I mean, to sustain your brand all these years, and to think that today, you have so many cases before you. Every day people are knocking on your doors, they need your help, etc. I mean, that should tell you the quality of the work that you do. And we can only hope and pray for long life, so that you continue to serve not just your party, but also Mother Ghana.
Definitely.
Right. Thank you so very much. Also joining us, and that will be shortly, that's Nana. Hey, that's Ellen Ama-Dekun. She corrected me the other day. Yes, Ellen Ama-Dekun. She's a member of the MPP's communications team. She'll also be joining us this morning on the show very, very, very shortly. And she's actually one of the aides, in fact, one of the spokespersons for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's campaign. I need to also point that out. In fact, she works in his office, apparently. Yes, so anyway, so she'll be joining us shortly. But Victor, I think it's your first appearance on the show for 2026, isn't it?
Oh, yes, 2026.
Yeah.
My first appearance.
I have noticed that this weekend the Attorney General's office has been on some kind of a media tour. And they've done 2 media houses already. I don't know what the plan is, whether they're going to come to Good Morning Ghana and some other media houses. But I also know that you work quite closely with Dr. Dominic Ayeni, Dr. Jasisai, because of the enormous knowledge and competences and strategy and things like that you have up your sleeves. And so you consult, from time to time. Do you have any idea what this media tour is seeking to achieve? And I'm sure that you've monitored some of the conversations over the weekend, because I noticed that Dominic Ayeni, despite the fact that he's been doing this accountability series, was also trying to basically update Ghanaians on some of the cases before them. And I heard the host say that there's a lot of pressure on the government to basically deliver on one of its core promises, which is making sure that they get past government officials accountable. But what else can you share with us in terms of what these media, outings or these media engagements are meant to achieve? And do you, from where you sit, think that it's the way to go?
Thank you, Moro. Let me say that yes, in as much as I'm a lawyer and a member of the legal team, I think if on this particular media engagement by the Attorney General and the Deputy, I don't have much information. But what I know as a party, and from the beginning, it's that because of the nature of campaign, and we came into power on the altar of corruption, that corruption will be made unattractive, corruption will be made very deterrent, will be punished. So the allegations that people from all walks of life within this country were bringing to members of government, especially the oral, it was allegations, a lot of allegations that was brought. They compiled them, and this, people were excited hearing much of the allegations that had come. And I think people are losing patience that for 1 year, nothing has gone on so much. But what I can say, and I know, is that there are a lot of investigations that are being done. I've been part of some of the investigations that were being carried by National Investigation Bureau, which I understood. Like you said, I serve everybody. If you have a case and what we can do, I will advise you as to what we do. Everybody comes in and we speak. So I know a lot of cases, and because of the backlash coming in, that look, there are low-hanging fruits, low-hanging cases that you don't need so much, and then concentrating on the high-profile cases, which everybody is expecting that at the day when we start, we should be able to finish this. That it's not going to be like we'll have a case that would drag, that would outlive the term of President Mahama. So because of the pressure coming from the public, and especially even some members of the oral, Domelevo, the former Auditor General, and the rest, what they are saying also makes it imperative.
He has had cause to complain that the Ghanaian is losing hope in the fight against corruption. But is that a fair comment to make?
Yes, I think he is not a lawyer.
Okay.
So I would say yes, it's a fair comment when it comes, because what he believes, maybe what he has seen, what he heard. But when it comes to your table as a lawyer, as Attorney General, the eyes of which you use to look at the evidence, the process, is a different ballgame. Once you look at it, you ask yourself, the first question as an Attorney General, you ask yourself, will this evidence, once they scrutinize it, will it stand the test of time? Okay. If it stands the test of time, and can it secure a conviction, when I put it before the judge or any ordinary person, will this lead me that I will secure conviction for what they have done? If it is 50-50 and there's some doubt, you know, always the doubt inures to the accused or the suspect. And that's how the judges, they operate, right? So you have to scrutinize the document properly. So there may be some documents given to you by the investigators, the police, or allegation. People bring some documents, right? When they bring their document and you look at it, you realize and ask and tell yourself, is this the document they are saying that substantiates the case? It's a tedious work. And I know there are a lot of cases that the Attorney General, they'll have to do, you know, and this brings some pressure on them. And I think it is good that in a democratic society, you give information, some sufficient information to the citizens. It's all about public money. It's about public purse. People who manage the public purse are being held accountable. The fire accountability, it's burning. And they are asking them, come and account. The fact that they've asked you to come and account or you are being investigated doesn't make you a criminal. You are not guilty. And the Constitution guarantees that until the court says that you are guilty, you are not guilty. In the court of public opinion, people can say you are guilty. You know, there will be wild allegations, imaginations, but it is what the court says, whether you are guilty or not guilty. So the mere fact that allegation has been made, charges have been put, does not mean that you are guilty. You will definitely have your day in court. But this pressure is coming because, you know, the excitement that came with oral, that came that, look, this is a new dawn, is a new hope that we are looking at. And also, when the Attorney General was also giving his government accountability series and the rest, the hope that he gave, that we have investigated, this is what we have found. So if you give them that hope, it tells them that 70-80% we are getting to where we want to be. We may be able to secure conviction. Because when it gives you the litany of the evidences that they've had that will substantiate their case before the court, it gives you some hope, glimmer of hope.
Okay.
That glimmer of hope being juxtaposed with the process so far That is when people feel, if you have all this evidence, you have gathered all this evidence, why is it that you are not in court? Because people are looking at, there should be several cases that are in court that are going on simultaneously. Not that we have 1 or 2 cases. But I know investigation has been done on a lot of the things. And sometimes the bureaucracy. You have to write a letter. Sometimes I get a letter, you go to the ministry, they will ask you that you have to be in court. The letter had come 2 weeks or some days, you are not even aware. You only get the hearing notice after the case had gone on. So sometimes you have to be proactive and follow up to get people to give you what is needed. And I think that that is one of the challenges that the Attorney General are facing, where they need to get communication from other people. You know, you just can't say orally sometimes. You need to put an evidence, maybe your opinion, what you have found, for the Attorney General to also review and can say, okay, go back, look into this matter. I think that you have not done the investigation here properly. And that is it. And I'm sure...
So it's a very long, winding, and sometimes very tedious process.
Oh, yes, definitely.
But here's the thing. Now, why then do politicians say the kinds of things they say in opposition, knowing all the things you know today? And I'm not sure that you're just finding out about how the process works. You've always known how the process works. But I am sitting somewhere, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, sorry, 2024. And then I'm listening to you on TV and I'm reading newspapers, I'm listening to you on radio, and you say, oh, this person has stolen that, this person has stolen this, with all kinds of claims and allegations and assertions and so on. And the party then comes to government. The party now says, okay, some of these claims and assertions and allegations you have made cannot even stand the legal scrutiny. And so give me some time. We may not even be able to prosecute some of the cases you brought before us.
Yeah.
How does the person who went to the polls to vote based on some of those claims and allegations, how do you want the person to take this, what appears to be an explanation as to why those cases cannot be prosecuted in court? As you rightly said, that there's what we call the legal eye, and what we call the layman or the mere mortal eye. I mean, are there any lessons sitting here for, do you think, as politicians, that we ought to take, a solemn one indeed, from some of the things you're saying, which is the variation between what can be dealt with in court and what looks like, you know, an offense or a crime committed, etc. Did you get the thrust of my question?
Yeah. You see...
Because it's like now, it's a reality check.
The reality check, it's there. It dawns on you. And some of the things that sometimes when you hear people say some of the things, personally, within me, I cringe. Because when they say...
You mean even in opposition?
Oh, yes, yes. Why? Because you hear some of the allegations when it is made. Then I ask my colleagues, these people, have they stepped in the courtroom before? Do they have courtroom practice? Do they know how the legal system works?
Did you have cause, for instance, even if it's on one occasion, to have called somebody to say, look, stop what you're saying, because what you're saying cannot pass legal muster. If we take this matter to court, we can't even prosecute this matter. So stop raising people's hopes and expectations. Have you had cause to do that even once?
No. In private, you can have discussion with people and say, look, the way you are treading, what you are saying will come and hunt you.
Okay.
Right?
As we're seeing today.
Yes, I'm not saying that all the allegations...
No, obviously. There are some.
It's some. It will come back to hunt you. Because you may say things, and I always ask them, don't speak as if you have your judges. Don't speak as if you have your lawyers. Because it's the same attorney general and the same lawyers who will look through. It's the same judges. Look, they are not interested in the matter. They are there to look at what has happened. And if you have your evidence and the facts, which in tandem with the law says that you are guilty, so be it. Right? That's how they operate in their mind. I'm not interested in any of their case. I'm not interested in your case. I'm not interested in this. But you see, some of our allegations, and once you speak, and the hardcore politicians will tell you that no, perception is everything. So whilst there's that perception that ABCD has gone wrong, until we get there and get to know, you need to raise those issues. One, maybe once you raise those issues, they will stop, right? They would, it's a kind of naming and shaming that we have heard this. And if it is true, because you get snippets of information, and because you are not in charge, you will not have all the information. But they throw it in there, believing that it may put some fear into the people over there, and it will be, a stop will be put to it, right? So that's one. Two, the politicians, the hardcore politician will tell you that promises is part of the game. You know, people will even be surprised when you come as a politician and you have to address them. You don't even tell them that this is the promise, this is what I'll do. They will be surprised. When he came, he didn't tell us anything. He didn't promise that he would give us A, B, C, D. That is why people would say, yes, promises are part of political campaign. However, it must be measured. Because now people are politically alert and wild. And they will fact check. And at the end of the day, the same things you said will be what will be used to measure you. So, and they will ask you sometimes that political parties are not church.
I know.
Yes, are you getting it?
Yeah.
So, sometimes they test the pulse also. You know, once the pulse is being tested, they throw into the public domain, you will be forced to come and make a reaction. So once you are forced to come and make reaction, then people get to know more about the issue at stake. So some of these things, whilst there's a political communication, and also the operation of the law, it just have to be balanced in a sense that once you are able to say one, you should be able to substantiate it, or when the need arises that you have to go to court, at least on the scale, you should be able to do more than what you've not been able to do. But if you are not able to do more and you just do little on the basis of the promise you have made, the people will judge you. And that is when they become angry more. I always give an example like maybe the scholarship secretariat. You know, there had always been an allegation people took scholarship. They gave people scholarship to go to school. Some never went, right? But they took the money. Some took the money. They never went to the school. You know, there was a kind of rot or a ring, a cabal in there. We were doing all sorts of things. This is part of low-hanging fruit. And I think that the secretariat, they may be doing some work. I always say this is a low-hanging fruit. It's a simple one. Look, just call everybody from 2017. Those we gave scholarship, yes, the nation has given scholarship. Go and study and come back with the knowledge to help us so that we can progress. Bring your certificates. Whether you've been able to finish, you've not been able to finish. Let's see what happens. If you haven't gone to school, please refund the money with penalty.
As simple as that.
It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
Would you file criminal charges against the person?
Why not? Refund the money with penalty. If you haven't gone to school, let's say somebody takes £20,000 and he doesn't go to the school, and you say you should refund him with penalty. If you don't, why not? We'll put you in the gallows. Tomorrow,
But if the person pays, does that end the story?
Oh, he pays with penalty.
Does that end the story?
No, at the end of the day, it's the money we are looking for.
Okay.
I see. We can tell you, go and see no more. Right? It is just to make it deterrent. But if somebody takes £20,000
yes,
from 2017 and today 2026, do you know how much interest that will come on this with penalty? The person may be paying hovering around £50,000 to £60,000.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money that will go into the kitty. So the expectation is high. I think that to manage this expectation, that's why the Attorney General wants to explain.
Okay.
But I think that Attorney General should go further and cases, because it will be very dangerous that what the hope he has given to us and he's not able to secure conviction. I think that it will be dangerous. It will not be good for the party. It will not be good for him also as a professional, because what he's saying, and already the opponents are trying to put spokes in and say that if you have your file, go to the court. Go to the court and say, but I am also of the view that, look, so far as the Constitution says that we are entitled to some sufficient information, an investigation is being done, and he gives some of the investigation, and I haven't heard him whilst he's in court with a particular case, he comes to give commentary or give what has happened, progress report. Okay. I don't think it is done.
Right.
That is unethical, that you'll be doing the same case and be running commentary on it in the media.
But let me ask you this, Kojoga. You know, you've said something, and what you just said is that based on everything that Attorney General has said and the kind of assurances that he has given and the expression of deep-seated belief and confidence that he has in the cases he's filed before the court, if things don't go well, it may affect the government, for that matter, the party. Okay. What do you make of those who also say that it's not what the Attorney General says, but how he says it? So a certain impression is created as though these persons whom allegations have been made against, for which matter they are being prosecuted and they are in court, the impression is created as though they are even guilty before a final judgment or a decision is made by the court. And because of the kinds of words used like criminal, stolen, stuff like that, and juxtaposing that as against what you have said, which is that, look, there's nothing you say which will matter unless the court says so or the judge says so. And that we must be careful we don't create, that's not your words, but I'm just saying that, essentially saying that we must be careful we don't criminalize or we don't pronounce people guilty in the court of public opinion. Yeah. Otherwise, you may have even damaged the person before the court makes a decision. And you know how Ghana works. Once a certain impression or a certain perception is thrown at you, even if the court says you are free, you are innocent, it may take you a very long time, and you have to be intentional about making sure that you clean yourself of those accusations. That's if it's even possible. Are you one of those who thinks that Dominic Ayeni should perhaps watch how he goes about, you know, updating Ghanaians about some of these cases in order to sort of manage expectations a bit and to know that he's not the judge, you're only a prosecutor, and that it would only take the judge to make the final decision? Are you one of those who thinks that, look, he appears in some of his commentary create the impression that the persons are already guilty? Because he himself has said, yes, he does that because he believes in the cases that he's taken to court. So it's that
until and unless you have a watertight evidence, that there's no matter what happens, they cannot punch holes into your evidence.
Okay.
Right? And you have full assurance, and you know that, look, it will lead to an irresistible conclusion, that inescapable one, that I will secure conviction. That is when you'll be bold and look at it. Whilst you are able to put the technical, the procedure, and everything right with your evidence, you will know the end of your case even before you start.
How?
You know?
And do you know the reason why I'm asking how?
Yeah, let me. I don't want to take any of the live cases, but I may give some scenario.
Okay.
Let's say you say you have.
No, even take the scholarship one. You started the scholarship exam.
Let me the scholarship one. So if the scholarship one, there is an evidence that you applied for scholarship, you were given scholarship to go to, let's say, the Dundee is a favorite school that most of them
Scotland,
yeah, Dundee. So you were given scholarship for 2 years or 3 years to go and do this course. There is evidence payments were made for you to go to the school. It's either it was given to you, received by yourself, or received by the university. Now it has been paid for that 2 years, right? Because normally what I know is they pay to some of them, especially GNPC, the scholarship, they pay to them into their account, then they pay to the university. Some of them, they pay directly to the universities. So once there's evidence that it has been paid for this number of years, and there's evidence that from the school that you never came to the school, maybe you use that opportunity to travel. So maybe you are based in the UK, you've not been to school, right? If I have this clear evidence that this is what you did, or you did not even apply for the scholarship, this scholarship was sold by somebody to you, right? And you impersonated to be such a person whilst the money is being paid and you went to school. Such a person is a clear evidence that I have. That I'm fully aware that with this evidence, when I charge you for stealing or deceit of public officer, and you've taken the money, you've stolen the money, public purse, and I say, look, this is ABCD are found against you. Make payments, right? Maybe the plea bargain.
Are you allowed? Sorry, before you go ahead, the plea, before you talk about the plea bargain and the process that goes to the plea bargain, are you allowed, for instance, based on the facts before you, to even describe the person's act as a case of theft and to say it publicly that you've stolen money? As a prosecutor, are you allowed to say that?
Oh, as a prosecutor, this is what I have found.
That the person has stolen money?
Yes, I found that he has stolen money or he embezzled or he misapplied.
Isn't that for the court to decide?
No, it is you make a charge.
Oh.
You lay the charge.
Okay.
That
I believe this is what you've done.
Yes, you stole this money, you embezzled. Okay. So I'm charging you for abetment or conspiracy to stealing.
Okay.
Are you getting it? That's the charge I would have. The charge will always come from Attorney General.
Right.
So if that is the charge he's repeating in his public commentary, I don't think there's anything wrong.
Standard practice?
Yes, standard practice.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
If the charge, because those will form the basis, the facts. The fact that I saw that they lodged money in his account, he used a different name and different ID card to secure the money when he was not the person. So if you put all this as a fact and the evidence to substantiate it, you have assurance that this one, I would definitely.
So would you
But you see, and I don't think the Attorney General, it is on every case that he's giving the public commentary.
Right.
What I see is some of the cases that are of public interest. People who seem to be at the helm of affairs that are being called to account for their stewardship. So these are some of the high-profile cases. You see the commentary, it's coming on. There are a lot of cases that are going on from the Attorney General's department that nobody even hears about it. It's only few minute ones that are of public interest that you will hear because maybe the personality involved. You know, people are saying that, from outside, this should be a man of honor, should be a man of his words. So if there's something contrary that they are saying, then people become so much interested and they want to know whether it's the truth or it's mudslinging or actually it happened. That's why people become so interested in the matter. Yeah.
Should the focus, and that's my, and viewers, please bear with me. I'm asking these questions because I'm trying to set a context for our next discussion or our next conversation. And so please bear with me. We're doing this one-on-one. When by the time we're done, you'll understand why I started the conversation from that angle. Because there's a major topic that we'll be talking about, we'll be having a conversation about. But Honorable, please hang in there. We'll take a short break.
Yeah.
And then when we return, we would wrap up on this. But whilst at it, I need to chew on this question. My question before we take the break would be that okay, I'm told that. Okay, all right, let's go. Let's go on break.
Start your Kids Day the right way, filled with confidence to take on any challenge. Pepsodent Kids contains the right amount of fluoride and sugar acid protection to care for their developing gums and teeth. Grab either orange or strawberry so they brush with the sweet flavor they love morning and evening. Pepsodent Kids, giving your children a bright smile for a brighter future.
Are you a headmaster, headmistress, parent, teacher, or an educator looking for high-quality textbooks for preschool, primary, and junior high school students? Look no further than Advocate Publishing Company. Advocate Publishing Company is a leading publisher of educational materials in Ghana that publishes very engaging, interactive, and comprehensive textbooks that meet the needs of students, teachers, and parents. Our textbooks are thoroughly published to make learning fun and easy. They are also designed to stimulate critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity in students. Make Advocate Publishing your preferred choice for all your educational needs. Explore our range of textbooks and educational resources. Visit us at the old GNTC yard near Kingsway, Accra. You can contact us on 0503 786 776 or 02408 06354, also 0531 600360, and connect with us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Advo Publishing. Don't settle for less. Choose the best. Advocate Publishing Company, empowering young minds one textbook at a time. Thinking publishing, think Advocate Publishing.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson.
Me didn't tum. Mr. Freddy Calico, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Freddy once now. Hey, that's you. Improve car. Yeah. Captain Mosquito, double the accent. Me did this sasso spray. Mr. Freddy sasso quell. Yeah, go to my sasso.
Come on, preko.
Ama, nansi mi general well-being enko ye kwao. Ama ma ye bohu se kontomra akija.
Nansi me hu se me nyo basi makura. Ama me kunu me into kwankwa. Oh you right. Enye mo go. Give us JC lecture and then the capsules. Aye num boom. And what some na mo kana. E bua emma ene meme nyina. Ne ma wo ba ye obesima. Na be ma so aye be mesima. Ya, we be bua wo kunu. Ama ne giant sa wo de hye ne botum. Na wanyinya nanim te sese ne oyi chokwa. GC mixture and then a capsule.
A pin for a batter, one more menu for one and Quadawi if you do me.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Charcoal toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kel Charcoal toothpaste. Kel Charcoal toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo Kendini, a who be here, Semetra Sapapaya to Amame Manfo, Kel Tacos natural ingredients, and a bomb is several buying, a man is swing, and a sansu mama hotel so a will beg you.
Kel Taco toothpaste. Choose Kel Charcoal toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth, and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Never dispose of ashes or fire into dustbins at the market or homes. You could start a fire outbreak, endangering both lives and properties. Use the dustbins for your waste and garbage only.
Live Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Aldo Moro, and my guests are still with me here. One of them has just joined us. Elena Madeko is a member of the NPP's communications team, but also one of the spokespersons for the Bamia campaign. She works with she works at the Bamia's campaign office, and she's here with us. And Ellen, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine. My apologies. Today
Yes.
the traffic
It's very
has
unlike
been,
you.
Yes, the traffic has been horrendous. But I think it's because school has started. So
right.
Every parent
Parents are
is out
busy.
there dropping their children. And yeah, I'm wishing all the children a good term. And all Ghanaian children, actually, who are back in school, a good term.
Right.
And as parents, we have to do what we have to do to keep them in school.
Yeah.
And then the school proprietors and proprietresses, the fees.
Why? It's very high.
We'll
Has
talk
it been
about
reviewed upwards?
The feeding fees.
The feeding fees?
Yeah.
Wow. You have the numbers to share? What was
Oh,
it
no,
before?
no,
What
no,
was it? What
yes.
is it
I mean,
now?
every school and what they charge, depending on
Okay.
where your child goes to. So
Right,
you pick
right.
what is good for your pocket.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
But
what I can say.
I'm not surprised you're saying this because, I mean, at GIS, the fees are a lot. So.
Yeah, you chose to go to GIS. There were other places you could have gone to. That's why I'm saying that
But your
it's
children,
contingent.
your children are there. So
My
you-
children are actually in a public school.
Really?
They are in the
They're private
Accra STEM school.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but that's manageable. I mean, yeah, I can even support you. It's no problem.
But then,
Yeah.
even though the Accra STEM school is a public school, it's still managed like an international,
international school.
because of the STEM component and all that. So we
Okay.
still pay what we have to pay.
Yeah.
Good morning to the teachers and
Alright.
the
Anyway.
and the headmaster of Accra STEM.
Count on Victor any day.
Accra STEM Academy. That is the name.
Accra STEM Academy. That's the name of the school. Oh, okay. I thought you were in GIS.
No,
Okay. You've taken them off. You've taken them from
they've
there.
never been there.
Oh, okay. I was misinformed. Sorry.
My children started off in Wenji.
This early morning for my
They
more professor to be see. What crap am I
My
committed?
children started off in Wenji. Wenji school. How did they get to GIS? I beg you.
Please, I beg you. This is just by the by. I beg you. Ellen and I like that. So please forgive me. Anyway, Ellen, good to see you and Happy New Year once again.
Happy New Year to
And,
you too.
anyway.
And to the team and to our viewers.
Right. So you were not with us in the last 1 hour or so, but I've been trying to tease out a few issues from Victor Kojoga Dawodu, and it has to do with accountability. It has to do with the expectations of Ghanaians to see the government deal with past public office holders who may have done something wrong, and what appears to be the impatience, on the part of some Ghanaians to see that happen. And he's been trying to explain to me what has been happening with some of the cases in court and sometimes what's the cause of the delay. And also explaining to me why, for instance, the Attorney General's officers from the Attorney General's office are all over the media platforms trying to explain what is happening. So that in itself should tell you that the pressure is real. And he was also saying that, yes, he admits that sometimes some of the things that are said in opposition may not be able to stand legal scrutiny. And in fact, he has had cause to, on a few occasions, say, look, on this particular issue, let's be careful because we may struggle to prosecute it in court. But then, hey, people have their own reasons why they bring up some cases before the public and so on and so forth. So it's been a very interesting conversation. In fact, I was just about to ask him a final question, then I can bring you for your brief thoughts, and then we can look at the Ken's matter, and then we can end with your primaries, because this is your month. A very important month, and for you who works at the office of Dr. Mahmoud Baba, I know you have a lot to share with us. But, Kojoga, sorry, Victor, I wanted to ask you this, that what really is the focus of the government? Is this just to see people in Sawam, or to get them to refund their money if indeed they have, quotes and unquote, stolen those funds or misapplied them or whatever it is? What's really is the focus of the government?
I think it's both.
Okay.
In the first place, the law makes provision that the judge, in convicting a person, can convict you to a fine, that pay a fine, or there's a custodial sentence, or both. So it depends on the discretion of the judge. But also it is maybe the Attorney General or the prosecutor who will urge the court that, looking at the facts, the case, the circumstances, how far we have come with this, we are asking that give us both the fine and the custodial sentence. But if government is also looking at, like the example I was giving in the scholarship secretariat, that there's huge money that has been gone in to educate our citizens, which was a good thing. If I say it's not a good thing, I'll be telling lies. Yeah. That you want to educate the public, bring them up to speed, so that at the end of the day, they come and take over from us. It's a good thing. But if somebody has found a devious way and schemes around it to siphon money from it without achieving the purpose, I think that the state should be able to take the money from that person. It should not go down the drain. If we do that, at the end of the day, when we send them to custody, government is still going to feed them. Government will take care of their medical bills, and even accommodation, right? Unless, and it is part of the law that when you are being sentenced, sometimes the judge will make it specifically that you go with hard labor. So if that will become the nucleus of the labor that we need, then how do we translate that labor into the schemes that we have already, the agriculture that the prisons have been doing? Then we need to get more land banks. As we have land banks and we have a lot of people who can go into farming and the rest, at the end of the day, the same food will be what they will use to feed them.
Right.
They will live healthy if they are eating good food.
Okay.
Food is just like medicine. If you eat good, you live well.
Right.
Right. So for me, I know from the point is that we want it also to be deterrent. That at the end of the day, when you've been given the privilege and honor to serve and be in charge of some public affairs or affairs, you must know that, look, I have to go in with integrity, and at the end of the day, I live with no scratch. I live with integrity. That's what people expect. And that must be the case, and not a norm. That you go in and you think there's an opportunity to become self-aggrandizement. You know, it's a way to make wealth. That when you go into public office and it is for you to make wealth. I think that it is the honor, it is the impact you make, the service you deliver to your people. That at the end of the day, they would mention your name and say, oh, when this man was here, this is the progress that we saw.
Okay. All right, Ellen, do you have any thoughts to share on this?
On this matter?
Oral, holding public office?
I have a lot to say.
Okay.
Well, good morning once again to lawyer and then to you and to our viewers. I'll start off by saying that when you take public office, you know that one of the risks you run is that after you are done, you would be called on to account for what you did if the need so arises. So I believe that in this, is it the fourth Republic?
Yeah, Fourth Republic, yeah.
In this, our Fourth Republic, everybody who has taken public office and knows that there's the possibility that you would have to account for what you did. And with that in mind, and the NDC government then in opposition, knowing that and having some of the appointees also going through the process, actually mounted a very spirited campaign, that's what I'll call it, without any evidence at that time because they were in opposition. So it was all about postulations and hearsay and what they think and what they suppose. They promised the Ghanaian electorate that should Ghanaians vote for them, they were going to do very specific things, and they were quite specific in what they were doing. They were going to set up a team immediately they come into power and get these people to collect all monies, supposedly, that are in certain people's pockets. And so this spirited campaign was led by Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa. He said it on numerous platforms, including their campaign platforms, where he screamed and shouted and listed a number of scandals that, in his opinion, and in the opinion of the NDC, were things that had gone wrong. Fast forward 2024, we go for elections, and Ghanaians decide that, well, from what you have said, even though you did it without evidence, they think that you had a case, so they will vote for you. They voted for you. And that was one of your prime promises. There were two prime promises. The oral matter in the 24-hour economy. But the oral was to just get in there, get people that supposedly had stolen money, taken public money, and get them to return it. That was what they promised Ghanaians.
Of public assets.
Public assets. Yeah. So if you remember, there was all this issue about land.
Bungalows and so on.
Bungalows. All manner of things. The former Lands and Natural Resources Minister, Abu Jinapor, had to consistently, defend and say that this is not true. But we don't know how it works in this country. The opportunity was given. You won power. And in the transition period, His Excellency John Mahama decided that since you helped him to campaign and to accuse people and to, get this whole matter out there, let me form a committee led by Okudzeto Ablakwa himself and a few others who had also, over the time, also screamed on top of their voices about people stealing. So they added the former Auditor General, Domolevo. They added the former police, Kofi Boakye, what is
He
when
was the commissioner of police.
He was the commissioner of police.
COP Kofi Boakye.
Yes, they added
Martin
Pebu, who had for years screamed on top of his voice that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and his whole family are corrupt. And I've forgotten the other 2 or 3 people.
There was Raymond Acha.
There was Raymond Acha.
Yeah,
Good. So you know that whole thing. So they got to work. We all saw what happened in this country, jumping from land to land, supposed land, jumping into people's property. If you remember, people actually were on their keys.
So that's the team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah. So you were.
And I even had a problem with this team because they didn't add a woman to it.
Okay.
And I was like, if you're chasing people who have you think have picked government money, women, we have a knack for getting information.
Right.
They should have added one woman to it anyway, but they decided to do it and they went.
I'm sure next time we'll add you.
I am not your party, so I'm sure. I'm sure you have.
You're a Ghanaian.
You have enough women. You have enough women in the NDC you could have added, but you didn't add them. You decided to settle on these 5 gentlemen, and they started their work. And we saw how the media was all over them. Every minute there was a press conference. There was something. They would call you people. We are going here. All the theatrics and everything that you guys put together. Then they decided to bring the report. The report was as long as this. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And we're all like, hey, okay. Gave it to the Attorney General. That was when I started laughing. Because I know that thing that they had brought, that whole stack of papers of supposed people who had stolen things, I knew that they could not even get to 2% of it. One, the Attorney General had too many things on his plate. Things that he had inherited, cases that he had to deal with, situations he had to deal with, things that were happening in life as an Attorney General he had to deal with. And, and now he had to come and add oral to that matter. And we're like, okay, let's see what will happen. 6 months down the line, Ghanaians started asking a few questions. What's up? Then the press conferences started, mentioning names. We are sending people to court. We are okay. And there's no need to come and tell us in the public. Send them to court. Let us see the action. 1 whole year down the line. Then this weekend, we had the pleasant opportunity to hear the Attorney General and his deputy at the same time on the media spree, explaining to us why oral is where it is. Whilst they were there, Mr. Domlevo was also on City. So the Attorney General was on Joy. Joy. The Deputy Attorney General was on TV3. Mr. Domlevo was on City. And so I started listening from Mr. Domlevo, where he said a number of the things that were in the report were trash. That is the words he used. I'm quoting him. So they threw
It's actually not the first time.
Yeah,
he said it before, yeah.
So they threw some away, the ones that they felt were total, didn't make sense. And even the one that they took to the Attorney General, in his estimation, there was some trash in it. I was like, okay. Then I went to Joy and I heard the Attorney General himself saying that, oh, it's not all the cases that will end up in court. Yeah. I was like, okay. Then I heard the Deputy Attorney General too saying that, oh, take your time. I mean, we are still going through the matter. We want to see which one is okay for court after 1 year. So the AG and the oral team want to tell us, Ghanaians, that after all the noise, right from opposition into power 1 year, they were dealing with trash. After all the press conferences, mentioning people's names, accusing them without evidence, it was trash. Is that what they are telling us? Because so far, we still haven't seen any direct results from the oral. Which case is in court? That is a direct consequence of oral. Which one? Because all the others that are in court, from the Giftiowari case to the Asibe Yeboah to the Hanan case to all the ones that are in court, are things that the AG himself did his investigations, and he says he's putting them in court, or they were all from oral, or the consequences of the oral matter. We need to know, so that we know that the money we spent on this oral matter has not been a waste. But with what they are doing, jumping from case to case, from TV station to TV station, media, the AG says we should expect more media trials and media press conferences. We hear. And after all this, and all the money spent, and all the time spent, you come and tell us that some cannot go to court, some are trash. So, I mean, what a total waste of everybody's time. Meanwhile, I would want to know if Mr. Sibe Yeboah is still in the hands of the, is it Yoko?
He's not been granted bail
He's
yet.
still not been granted
bail. To the best
bail.
of my knowledge.
How fair?
That's two different things.
How
You
fair
see,
is that?
they grant you bail if you are able to fulfill the conditions.
Yes.
So there are two different things.
Yes. He's been granted bail. He's not been
He
able
was
to fulfill
granted bail.
Even though he's been reviewed down.
He wasn't able to fulfill the bail conditions.
Okay.
It was reviewed down. He still wasn't able.
Ella, please do me this favor. I beg
Yes.
you, please do me this favor. You know, the Jospon Group of companies have a leadership seminar that they organize every year. I'm told that the chief executive of the Jospon Group of companies, the group chairman, is about to speak. It's just for a few minutes. So let's take that speech, and then I'll come back and ask, and then you can continue. They'll give us an extension of time. Yeah, please do. Please do. So let's quickly go to the venue grounds and listen to Dr. Siao Japon.
At Pentecost Convention Center, our media, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the 2026 Leadership Conference of the Jospon Group of Companies. Psalm 90, verse 1 to 2 is Jospon's message. That, Lord, you have been our dwelling place throughout all generations, all our 13 generations, all from 1995 to this time. You have been our Lord. Before the mountains were born, or you brought forth the whole world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. It is with great honor and deep appreciation that I stand before you today at the beginning of a new year, one filled with new expectations, new challenges, and new opportunities. 2026 is a Jospon year. Each year we gather as leaders to reflect on where we have come from, to evaluate where we are, and to boldly shape where we intend to go. Our theme for this year, Building Tomorrow's Leaders Today, captures a strategic truth. The future does not begin 10 years from now. It begins with decisions, discipline, and the leadership we demonstrate today. Today's world demands more than operational excellence. It demands foresight, adaptability, innovation, and above all, leadership. As a group that has grown from a single printing press in the year 1995 into a multi-industry conglomerate with impact across Africa and beyond, we stand as a living proof that leadership is not a title. It is a responsibility, an attitude, and a mission. Today, we are called to ensure that this culture of leadership continues. The next generation of strategic thinkers, innovators, cluster heads, and managing directors must not emerge accidentally. They must intentionally develop. They must not emerge that will be looking for people. But today we must all decide that we have our future managing directors, our CEOs, and everyone here, and we must intentionally develop them. Leadership, as we all know, is not merely about authority or position. It is about responsibility, influence, and the capacity to create solutions. It is about foresight, adaptability, and character. It is about preparing others to go further, achieve more, and carry the mission with strength and passion. This conference is more than a gathering. It is a leadership laboratory. It is a platform for corporate learning, alignment, and exchange. Over the few days, we will discuss strategy, culture, performance, risks, innovation, and people development. I ask that we do so with open minds, unwavering professionalism, and a shared commitment to excellence. Let us remember that building tomorrow's leaders today requires strong mentorship and succession planning, continuous training and global exposure, clear values and institutional discipline, accountability and ethical leadership, innovation and digital readiness. If we embrace these pillars, the Jospon Group will continue to thrive for decades to come, regardless of changing markets, technologies, or environments. On behalf of the leadership of the Jospon Group and on behalf of my dear wife, I extend our deepest appreciation to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the President of the Republic of Ghana, and the First Lady, Her Excellency Lordina Mahama, for their leadership and continued commitment to national development and also to the private sector. Especially, I would say in this context, Jospon. Special appreciation also goes to our Honorable Ibrahim Ahmed, Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. We cannot ignore the support of all ministers of state, cabinet ministers, and all other agencies, chief executives. Jospon operates in multi-diversified businesses, and so we relate to everyone, all government agencies, chief executives, and management. I humbly want to thank the members of Parliament, MMDC presiding members,
So that was the group chairman for the Jospon Group of Companies. The executive chairman actually is delivering his speech at the Jospon Leadership Conference, which is happening at the Pentecost Convention Center somewhere in Kaswa. But we've just been hit with a little technical challenge, and so the speech had to be halted at some point, so abruptly. But as and when we get a proper feed and the executive chairman is still on his feet, we would go back and bring you a live broadcast of that speech. It's actually meant to be the closing remarks for today's. In fact, it's a week-long program, so this is more or less like the opening, the opening session. And so, as and when we get a proper connection to the place, we'll bring you excerpts of what's happening at the Jospon Convention Center, or I think Pentecost Convention Center, something like that, somewhere in Kaswa. Anyway, so Ellen, you were on the floor. You were talking about, you were wondering which of the cases is as a direct result of oral.
I was wondering which of the cases. Now, in fact, I was talking about, is it Mr. Sibeyebo? His bail matters. And how, and...
He's back, sorry. Oh, Ellen, I beg you, Pa. I'm told the executive chairman is back. Let's go back to the event grounds.
The Juma prayers for us, and that's how far the Lord has helped us. I humbly want to thank the conference coordinator, Mrs. Rosamond Okaya Tiemo, and the organizing committee, various committee chairs, Strive and Co. You will see the atmosphere. Every year there's innovation, there's creativity. I humbly want us to applaud the committee, the organizing committees. They've done very, very well. I express my admiration and appreciation to all of you for the tremendous work done. May our time together here produce strategic insight, renewed energy, and actionable outcomes that strengthen our companies, our people, and our leadership culture. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to officially declare the 2026 Jospon Leadership Conference duly opened. Thank you, and God bless you.
The University of Health and Allied Sciences, UHAS, conferred a Doctor of Science on him. Many call him Jospon, Chairman.
In Gumafete Central Region, there's the Jospon Leadership Conference 2025. You just heard the Executive Chairman giving his opening remarks to open the session. All right, so we'll come back in studio and continue the conversation. So, Ellen, sorry for that once again. Yeah, let's say SEB.
Bill conditions have been so draconian to the extent that it has to be reviewed and reviewed and reviewed, and still, the gentleman is still in there after almost 3 months, and we think it is okay, it is fair that we do this. All these issues are going on in our justice system. I'm not saying that the gentleman is innocent or guilty. I cannot be the judge of that. That is why there are the courts for all this. But in the administration of the justice, in our investigations, we have to be fair. How fair is it that you have accused somebody of taking money, you haven't yet taken him to court, you haven't yet gotten a conviction against him, and just bail conditions, you can keep him for over 3 months, just because the conditions are so high, when there are a lot of things that you can do? Is it because he's a flight risk? What is it? And with all this going on, the AG is okay. His deputy is okay with all the things that they have done in the last 1 year. And they are telling us that we should still have patience. Well, since I didn't vote for them because I didn't believe in what they were doing, and I have said it, I said it from day one, I'll continue to say that they are not going to get any results from this oral matter. I am not surprised the whole thing is ending this way. And it has now taken them time off their weekends to come on TV, to come and explain to us in numerous words on how they cannot in any way satisfy their voters and their supporters. Going forward, I don't know what they intend to do with this whole oral matter, but with the evidence that they themselves have given, and it will be kept. If my name is mentioned in the oral and I come, you are able to send me to court. One of the things I'll be using as my evidence is that you yourself said most of the things that are in it are trash. I don't know how they are going to manage this whole trash report and get our money, our supposed money for us. I wish them well, even though I know it will not work out.
Right.
And I also wish them well in explaining to their teaming supporters whom they told all these things and brought their hopes and laid accusations against people without evidence, how they are going to manage and get the 21 billion Ghana cedis. No, was it $21 billion? Well, it
was 21 billion
cedis or dollars.
Yes, cedis. Okay.
So how they are going to get that for Ghanaians, that's up to them.
All right.
But moving on from there, the AG2 had a few explanations to do on why he's chasing people for supposed monies. Now going to start a whole fight with them to get their monies. Okay. He came in and then decided to file nolle prosequi for almost 10 cases that were in court that had also billions of Ghana cedis, millions of dollars. I remember he was asked about the Saglame matter. The explanations he gave on the Saglame matter is quite funny. So he said the whole matter wasn't based on the 200 million, and that when Mr. Collins Dowda, Honorable Collins Dowda took over, it was rather 94 or 95 million that was in contention. So my question to the AG is that, so assuming that what he's saying is right, the $95 million he's dashed it to them. So he's no more interested in the case.
Right.
Whilst he's at that, he's also doing 60-40 with Mr. Kwabena Dufo. You go and do all these, your party members, every single case that was in court, already in process against his party members, he's going to say that he's not interested. So all those cases have ended with all the money gone. Then you come back and you come and tell us that you are now going to chase people. And you are now going to try and prove that they are truly guilty. You are now going to gather evidence. Now here we are. In Ghana, they will say beer water. In Tree, will say honeyeti. It's been the whole year. I wish them well.
Yeah, let me quickly. Let me. You see, the aura. It was not an investigation team that was formed.
Right.
That they should investigate. It was facts gathering. They gathered facts, perceptions. You know, you'll be surprised to know that even drivers come and say, this is my boss. He has gone and hidden this car, this Pajero Land Cruiser here. And some of those have been retrieved. Because when there's change of government, people come with a lot of information. So it was just all allegations that has been gathered, and it is time for that to be investigated. It is not all allegation that has been made that becomes evidence. No, right? So that was the mandate where they quantified and said, if all these allegations, let's say somebody says my boss has 2 Land Cruisers, he's hiding them in a garage here, and they said the cost of the Land Cruiser is, let's say, $100,000. So if it is 2, and we say it's $200,000, and we go and retrieve that car, those are some of the things that estimation were put.
Okay.
But not to say that this is the physical cost that would be coming to us. It is assumed that if we lost that vehicle, we have lost $100,000.
Right.
Right. So the purpose for the oral, it is ongoing. Some of the cases we did not even know. It was the oral that brought it. How did we get to know about Wuntumi's Exim Bank loan? That he took the money for cassava or maize project, and that money was not used for
was that an oral product?
Yes.
Oral produced this
case. A lot of some of these things that came, it was the tip of iceberg that when they brought and got to the Attorney General, once they went into it, then they found that, oh, truly, they have some substance that we need to look at. And she should have patience. We have 4 years. It's a 4-year mandate. The first year is a preparatory stage. Investigations are being done. And when they start mounting the cases, she will not come and say that they have just sat down. You know, for me, investigation is a process. There must be time frame. And once you get to court, for me, I even wish that it would be daily trial. Because that's what I like. It makes it fast. Right? Daily trial. We would see that. Now
speaking about daily trials, what's the status of the regional tribunals?
No, the tribunal, my understanding, the tribunal, the bill has been approved by cabinet, and now it will go to parliament.
Right.
Right? Okay. When it is tribunal is simply the participation of the public. Right. That is how the public also participate. Right. So you have a judge and the jury. That your own colleagues will assess and see what you have done. Is it wrong or it's not wrong?
Okay.
And they are being guided by a lawyer.
All right.
Who will sit. So that's now the bail conditions is talking about by ACB. Why would court wants to give a bail? The major reason is that the person will stand trial. The person will not be a flight risk. The person will be protected, right? So they make condition that is a condition you sign as a contract with the state. That once you are not there, the people who come to stand as surety, will pay. So it is a duty on you to make sure that you are able. If you've gone for review in the High Court and you're not able to fulfill that, you can still go up to the Court of Appeal and even get to the Supreme Court for your bail to be. But the fact that you've not been able to execute your bail condition does not mean that the system says that we should not get. Then that means that people who go to court, they should not be given bail conditions. That is why, in the wisdom of the law, you can even be given bail, self-recognizance bail, knowing that the magnitude of the case that you brought. Recently, even in Nigeria, Salami, who was the former Attorney General of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, has been in cells for over 6 months, all the same about bail condition. So it is not hard and fast rules that bail condition, sometimes it commensurate or mimic the amount involved that is being investigated. So that is the issue. So it's not like everybody, then we say, oh, he's being punished. They are guided, the courts are guided by Act 30, Section 96, as to how. And he says that don't use bail as punishment. The condition should not be excessive. Right? And these are factors they look to. Now she talks about some cases where nolle prosequi were filed. You know, in the estimation of the Attorney General, most of these cases had political undertones. And it was not worth the state spending so much. The ones that were involved with some money, they have sat down and they have agreed that some money should be paid. Was Afoko? Didn't we file nolle prosequi? Is Afoko a member of the NDC? Afoko is not a member of the NDC. Their own people put him there. When he even had bail, they revoked the bail. At the time, was that right? That they revoked the bail and kept Afoko in for years. The system was not working. Or was working. You know, so some of these things, the oral, it is working. They are not saying that everything that you gathered at the committee level and estimation has been quantified, put on it, means that everything in the allegation will become evidence that will secure conviction. So they should have patience. We have 3 more years. And I'm sure Ghanaians at the end of the day will be happy and know how much has been retrieved and how many people have been put in gallows.
All right, so let's get to a more substantive issue for today, and which has to do with the former finance minister. He's in ICE, but not as in ice block. He's in ICE, not as in cold, but ICE. He's in the grips of the American immigration authorities, customs and immigration authorities, for charges we're not very, very clear about, because we're hearing 2 different accounts. Over the weekend, we heard the Attorney General, who actually has to disclose that that Ken Ofori-Atta's visa was revoked sometime in July 2025. He was asked to leave America on the 1st of November, but he didn't, and that's why he's been arrested. That's what the Attorney General tells us. We're yet to hear from the lawyers for Ken Ofori-Atta why, first of all, to confirm whether indeed his visa was revoked in July and for what reason. You know, we haven't heard from their side. But of course, if what the Attorney General is anything to go by, so we'll go with that, because he is the lawyer for Ghana. So we'll go with that. And we don't think there has any reason to lie about this. Now, this is the chronology of events. So Ofori-Atta detained by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, on January 6, 2026 at his apartment in Washington, D.C. Now, here's what happened, we're told. Now, January 6, 2026, Ofori-Atta was arrested by ICE agents around 11 a.m. as he exited his apartment building in Northwest Washington, D.C. January 7, 2026, his lawyers, Minka Premo, Osei Bonsu, Bruce Catling, and partners issued a statement saying Ofori-Atta had a pending petition for adjustment of status, allowing him to stay in the U.S. legally beyond his visa period. January 8, 2026, the Ghana Embassy in Washington, D.C. confirmed Ofori-Atta's detention and attempted to provide consular assistance, but he declined, citing his lawyer presence. Now, you go to January 10, 2026, Ghana's Attorney General Dominica Koretenga Ayeni reveals the Ofori-Atta's U.S. visa was revoked in July 2025 and was given until November 29, 2025 to leave the U.S. January 11, 2026, Ofori-Atta is currently in ICE custody at the Caroline Detention Facility in Virginia, facing possible extradition to Ghana over corruption charges related to the SML scandal. Okay, so good. Now, this morning, the production team, we came out very early in the morning, and the production team got in touch with Mr. Frank Davis, who's one of his attorneys. He had agreed to speak to us an hour later. Unfortunately, we've been trying to get through to him. He's not answered his call yet, or we've not been able to reach him yet. So once and when we reach him, we'll speak to him to ask him about what is now in the public domain. But let me just read 2 paragraphs from 3 newspapers who have taken 3 very interesting angles as far as this matter is concerned. So if you look at page 22 of today's Ghanaian Times, Ghanaian Times is reporting that Ken Ofori-Atta to appear before U.S. immigration judge January 20. Now, Malik Suleimana and Bernard Bengam says Ghana's former finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta will appear before an immigration judge in the United States of America on January 20 after he was arrested for refusing to leave the United States. Dr. Dominica Ayeni, Ghana's Attorney General Minister of Justice, has said. On Joy News, Dr. Ayeni stated the U.S. Department of State gave Mr. Ofori-Atta up to November 29, 2025 to leave the United States upon the revocation of the B1, B2 visa, but refused to do so. The Attorney General and Minister of Justice explained that appearance of Mr. Ofori-Atta before an immigration judge on Tuesday, January 20, 2026 was different from the extradition process. All right, so that's how the Ghanaian Times captures it. Now, this is how the Daily Guide also captures it on page 3 of its dailies today. Now, it says that the Embassy of Ghana, and this is by Ernest Kofi Addo, it says the Embassy of Ghana is in Washington, D.C. has confirmed that former Minister for Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, has been taken into custody by the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. In a statement issued yesterday and signed by Ghana's ambassador to the United States, Victor Emmanuel Smith, the embassy said the detention had triggered diplomatic engagement to ensure Ofori-Atta's rights are protected. The statement further noted that the embassy received information regarding Mr. Ofori-Atta's detention and immediately took steps to verify the circumstances surrounding the matter. Upon receiving the information, the embassy undertook the necessary steps to verify the circumstances surrounding the matter. The statement said, highlighting that Ghana's diplomatic mission acted promptly. Following the confirmation of the detention, the embassy formally contacted the relevant ICE facility to request access to the former finance minister in order to provide consular assistance. According to the embassy, this request was made in line with established diplomatic practice and international protocols governing the treatment and support of nationals detained abroad. However, officials of the detention facility informed the embassy that Mr. Ofori-Atta declined to engage with Ghanaian consular officials at that time, preferring to do so only in the presence of his legal representatives. Now, finally, the Herald then reports, and this is what I find very interesting, and the way the Herald's perspective or angle to the story is. Now, the Herald says that it says AG's multiple claims on Ofori-Atta's detention over U.S. visa status confusing. Okay, that's how the Herald terms it. He said it is confusing. Now, it says the Herald's investigations into claims surrounding the detention of Ghana's former finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta by the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, has uncovered a number of intriguing details, some of which Ghanaians will have to contend with when he appears in court on 20th January to challenge his detention and a potential extradition. Among the findings is information that in November last year, U.S. authorities collected Mr. Ofori-Atta's biodata as part of a process to renew his visa. This was Larry Dogbe is reporting, that he is aware that in November they had collected his biometric data to renew his visa, not to go and sack him, because per what the Attorney General is telling us, his visa was revoked in July 2025, right? Meka last year, it revoked. Why it was revoked, we are not too sure. And the Attorney General doesn't tell us why the visa was revoked. And that, subsequent to that, they say, okay, your visa has been revoked. 1st of November, leave this country, go back to your country. The Herald is telling us their investigation is rather showing that on the 1st of November, the same 1st of November, the same immigration officers were processing an extension of his stay in America. Did you see the two contradicting information? But of course, I'll always go with the Attorney General's account of what has happened. But this is what the Herald says. It says some of which Ghanaians will have to contend with when he appears in court on January 20 to challenge his detention and potential extradition. Now, among the findings is information that in November last year, U.S. authorities collected Mr. Ofori-Atta's biometric data as part of a process to renew his visa and extend his stay. Also emerging is a contradiction between the Attorney General and his deputy over whether Mr. Ofori-Atta's U.S. visa was revoked in June 2025 or July 2025. Now, I'm told the Justice I was on another platform saying it's June, and INS says it's July. So again, there's some contradiction there. Now, this development raises serious questions about the accuracy of claims by the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayeni, and his Deputy Dr. Justice Shremsai, that Mr. Ofori-Atta's detention at the Caroline Detention Facility in Virginia resulted from a visa revocation in May 2025. Now, U.S. immigration experts argue that it would be highly unusual, if not impossible, for the U.S. State Department or ICE to revoke a visa in July 2025 and still permit the individual to remain in the country for nearly 7 months. That's from July to November. Until his eventual detention last week, as confirmed on ICE's official website. Now, in October last year, the Attorney General's Department engaged in virtual exchanges with the Office of the Special Prosecutor, so it gives us a bit of a background. Shremsai had disclosed that several formal requests had been made to the USP for full access to the investigative docket on Mr. Ofori-Atta, stressing that the documentation was essential for Ghana to comply with international legal procedures. Now, okay, so this, do you get a sequence of events? Okay, so again, right, let's before I pick your view on this, let's go to the convention center again, I beg you, in the Gomafete, around the castle area. Yes, we're getting an extension.
Exodus chapter 3, verse 15. God said to Moses, say to the Israelites, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent me. So it's the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. It's a generational. Our Lord is a generational. So when you come to him and you worship him and serve him, your business must be a generational. You should have the just born of the beginners of 1995, the just born of the continuation in 2026, the just born of the continuation in 2035, till the just born of the continuation in 2080. So that is how. So building tomorrow's leaders today is very, very important. It's very, very important. I want to thank the organizers for this team. It's very, very appropriate and very, very important. Now, Joel chapter 1, verse 1 to 3 says, the word of the Lord came to Joel, son of Pethuel. Hear this, you hear this. Listen, all who live in the land. Has anything like this ever happened in your days or in the days of your ancestors? If something has happened, tell it to your children, and let your children tell it to their children, and their children to the next generations. It's a continuity. Our Lord is a continuous God. Now, this slide shows why is it important. So, Just Born started in 1995. Now, those who started with Just Born in the year 1995, at age 25, within the next 5 years, all of them will retire. Anyone who joined Just Born group at the age of 25 in 1995, will by 5 years' time are retiring. Now, Zoom Lion started in 2026. All staff who joined Zoom Lion at age 30 are now 50 years. Because the year 2026, Zoom Lion is 20 years. So when you join at age 30, this year will be 50 years. The next 10 years, you are retiring. And And that is why building tomorrow's leaders today is very important at this time. So that the next generational leaders will start taking over from us. I was so delighted when I saw the coordinator. You see, every year we change the MCs. These new MCs, Gideon and Mamisa, look at how they were displaying the talent, the fluency. Then we are now going to Africa country. They are speaking Spanish and French. We are almost there. We are almost there. We are almost there. So we have trained capable and talented skill of leaders. I'm saying that by close of today, we want to see everyone's new resume, because you have added so many qualifications to you that we are not even aware. When we are looking for people, as if we don't have them, we have them here. We have them here. The next CEOs are here. The next CEOs are here. We have the talent. We have the talent. And we have trainers that those who have even gone retirement can still impact and train. So that is why. Now, when you look at this chart, why tomorrow's leaders is today? Now, Jospon has about 52% of our staff are age of 40 years and below. So we have strong army. About 4,000, 3,000 over are age 40 and below. So they can carry the company for the next 20 years and then can carry on. Now, this year, 2026, 114 people are retiring. 114. And that is why building tomorrow's leaders is very critical for our time. Now, for this, I would humbly like to use a man called Jonathan Edwards, a man of discipline, vision, and conviction. And then Miles Jukes, a man remembered not for achievement. So these two people are going to be used for case study for why building tomorrow's leaders is very, very important. Jonathan Edwards and Miles Jukes. So Jonathan Edwards was a Puritan preacher in the 1700s. He was one of the most respected preachers in his days. He attended Yale at the age of 13 and later went on to become the president of Princeton College. He married his wife Sarah in 1727, and they were blessed with 11 children, 8 daughters and 3 young boys. Now, Jonathan Edwards' conviction. This is his conviction. As a preacher, as a pastor, this is his conviction. Live fully for God's glory and good for others. So this was his beliefs and his convictions. That as a leader, as a preacher, as a pastor, he took that he will live fully to God's glory on this word and also to the good of others. Everything that you do, once taking the glory of God, he's also looking at the welfare of people, how people will be very good. Commit every action now and in the future to God's glory. Choose what truly brings lasting good to yourself and humanity. Remain faithful even in the midst of difficulty, opposition, or sacrifice. Then be intentional and innovative in doing good. When you are doing good, his beliefs of giving glory to God and doing good, he has to be intentional and innovative in doing good. Continuously seek better ways to fulfill your purpose when you are a leader. Think creatively about advancing what is right, good, and beneficial. So we are telling our next leaders, this was the beliefs of Jonathan Edwards. Then, transferring it to his children. When he was transferring this to his children, one thing Jonathan Edwards made that Jonathan Edwards did not assume his convictions would automatically transfer to his children. He and his wife, Sarah, employed deliberate practical strategies to cultivate a greenhouse of faith in their children. So even though they have their good beliefs, their creativity mind, they never assume that once he's a pastor, his child will become a pastor automatically, or he become a good person, or the convictions of him will transfer automatically to. He have to deliberately cultivate practical strategies into a greenhouse of faith in their home. Now, that is first one, deliberately, intentionally, to impact their beliefs. The second one was that he expected all his children, including his daughters, to be well versed in Jewish church history. Then the third one, intellectually probing. He often tested their knowledge. So once the children are there, he sometimes tests their knowledge. At dinner table, he will ask specific questions, challenging questions. So for Jonathan Edwards, leadership of right thinking and transferring begins at home. So if you want to become a good leader and transfer your capabilities and your impact to you, then you have to start at home. How you behave at home will come out publicly. If you are taking care of your children, if you and your wife are a union. So for Jonathan Edward, in coming out as a statesman, practically, you have to begin at home. Work at home. Your children, dinner time, questioned access, their homework. The way you manage your home, your wife, your husband, your children, and other things permeates into practical leadership. Moral discipline. He taught them to fear God and insist on courteous behavior and cheerful obedience. Quality interaction. Rather than strictly formal devotions, thank you. He dedicated an hour each evening to good conversation. Quality interaction. Rather than strictly formal devotions, he dedicated an hour every day, 1 hour with his children in the evening to good conversation. So every 1 hour, we want to practice Jonathan Edwards. Have time with your husband. When you get home from your work, 1 hour with your family, with your husband, just 1 hour, spending time to discuss issues in which the entire family participated. The entire family allowing them to keep watchful. So once he's discussing, he's watching their eyes, watching their movement, and seeing that it's a very good practical step of Jonathan Edward that we have to develop as future leaders. We should add it up. You wake up in the morning, you don't have time, you go to work. When you come home, just spend 1 hour with your children, with your husband, sit together. Even if they have taken their dinner before you came, have time. That was one of the strategies of Jonathan Edwards. A.E. Winship traced Jonathan Edwards' descendants 150 years after his death. So there was a writer, a researcher called A.E. Winship. He traced the Jonathan Edwards lineage descendants. And he recognized that the descendants of 11 children have generated generational leaders. One U.S. vice president came from Jonathan Edwards' generation. One dean of law school, one dean of medical school, 3 U.S. senators, 3 governors, 3 mayors, 13 college presidents, 30 judges, 60 doctors, 65 professors, 75 military officers, 80 public office holders, 100 lawyers, 100 clergymen, and 285 college graduates. That was the generation of That's the generation of Jonathan Edwards. That he never assumed that his beliefs will be transferred. He has to deliberately and cautiously develop the children, train the children. And the children took it over. They also handed over to their children. And great-grandchildren handed over. And handed over and handed over. And for 150 years, that was what we are now reading here. God is the ultimate entrepreneur, by David Ramsey. His image, and we are in his image. When we align our business with his principles, success becomes a natural product. So when we align our businesses with godly issues and other things, success is a byproduct of our business. Now let's look at Sarah, her wife. She also facilitated intellectual. She facilitated intellectual achievement. Sarah managed the household, whilst Edward sometime will be focusing on 13 to 14 hours studies. He likes studies, like reading, like writing. 13 to 14 hours studies. Sarah will take care of the children and manage. Sarah, intentional and balanced. She became an intentional and balanced parent. Her parenting style, characterized by clear requirements and flexibility, fosters strong, lively, and social coordinated children. See, sometimes, as leaders, you might think reading books and doing so many things help. It helps. But I'm pleading that what this couple are teaching is that the home, when we manage our home very well, we become good leaders. If your home is not very well, assuming in the morning you are come and there's a quarrel between you and your wife, the whole day you'll be writing checks, but your mind is still at home, because you know when you go back home, fire continues. You will never have peace. You're driving, your movement, your eating, you will never have it well. So for Jonathan Edward, managing the house, when your house is so settled, when you come out freely, and that gives you how to impart. If you can't impart your children and your wife, how can you impart the next generation? So Jonathan Edward is teaching us how to manage our house well and to balance it up. Character and manners. She taught her 8 daughters life skills, manners, fostering harmonious home environment, modeling for future generations. The Edward family maintained success through strategic marriages, ensuring daughters learn womanhood from Sarah and continue choosing spouses of similar character and capacity. So you see, they manage in such a way that when the 8 daughters are going to marry, they make sure that the people, the husband they choose, are of the same temperament. They don't just leave their daughters to choices that, oh, you can take anyone. They managed. It's a lesson. So that the generation continue. So when you're also taking a partner as a Gen Z, you make sure that Jonathan Edward or Sarah, that kind of talent and character continue. Now, their combined influence on leadership. Jonathan and Sarah modeled leadership rooted in character, not charisma, not charm, but character, good character. Family as a leadership foundation, the family. So what we are learning from here for our generations to continue, family, how you manage your children, how you manage your wife, your husband, how the home is managed is a precursor for good leadership for future. You can read 1,000 books of motivational speakers, John Maxwell, Greenage. You can read so many things. If your family life is bad, you can never be a good leader. So what we are learning for generational leaders, manage your home well. Manage your home well. I can connect Sarah to Dr. Mrs. Adelaide Japan. I can connect Sarah. She is like Sarah. How busy I am. She takes care of all the household and manage all the problems. Do you know sometimes I even forget the birthday of my children? Sometimes she have to remind me. She have to. So we must take our home, husband and wife, from here. When you go, learn it. Every evening, 1 hour with your family. They are part of the business. I sometimes say that let your wife sometime one day pass her through the business. Take her to the compost plant. Take her to, let them know what you are doing, what you come to do. Let your children, some Saturday, let them go to visit the treatment plant site. Let them know what you are doing so that they also support you in prayers. They also support you in prayers. Let your family get to know what you are doing. Sometimes take your wife an evening, movement, walking, jogging, so that you can converse, so that intimacy. When the house is good, the work will be very good. When the house is hot, you can never have it easy. So takeaways of it is that depth with God sustain leadership. Your relationship in depth with God will sustain your leadership. Integrity matters more than position. Integrity matters more than, let your integrity be very, very, very important to you than your positions. A supportive, wise spouse multiplies leadership impact. A supportive, wise spouse multiplies leadership impact. Leadership legacy is built at home before it is seen at Jospon. Start at home before you come to the work. If your house is not in order, it will become a challenge. Now, let's look at Maljux, his opponent. Maljux also was born in the 19th century, a New Yorker, but he exemplifies a poor leadership and morality. Personal characteristics: he rejected faith, education, and personal responsibility, serving as a poor example of self-leadership and family leadership. His legacy: he is not famous for achievement, but for negative outcomes associated with his descendants. So Maljux is the opposite of Jonathan Edwards. Education, faith. For him, his children should move in the way they want. No education, no responsibility, no integrity. Leadership influence of Maljux: a failure of self-leadership. Maljux is portrayed as lacking moral restraint, vision, discipline, purpose beyond self. I humbly want to take it again. Maljux is portrayed as lacking moral restraint, vision, discipline, and purpose beyond self. Absence of values-based leadership at home. There's no record of intentional moral instruction, education, encouragement, or spiritual. So, as for Maljux, the homework of the children are not his concern. Whatever the wife is doing, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't even collaborate. If your wife is doing something well at home, just support her, encourage her. Influence through neglect. Maljux didn't actively lead people into crime. But passive leadership, that's the neglect, still shape the outcomes. So for Maljux, he never taught his children how to steal, how to do certain wrong things. But his absence of the way they should behave brought the outcomes. So if you don't take care of your children, your home well, your family matters well, it will lead them into problems. And today we have so many examples. people who don't have time for their wife and children. It leads to so many problems. It leads to so many problems. So, Mas Juice legacy. Let's look at Mas Juice legacy. 7 murders, 60 thieves, Ali Baba and the 40 thieves, 190 prostitutes, 150 other convicts, 310 paupers, 440 who were physically wrecked by addition of alcohol to alcohol, and of the 1,200 descendants of Mas Juice that were died, 300 died prematurely. When you don't handle your home very well, these are some of the outcomes. These are some of the disadvantages. So we are learning, building tomorrow's leaders today by imparting, starting from our home, so that our children will come and take over from us. And then when we come to the Jospon family, we also impart the same thing. You cannot lead others well if you do not first govern yourself. When values are not taught intentional, don't think that it will come. So when we are, today, we have to find any of the young leaders who are here, find your mentor. A mentee, also find your mentor. We should have a mentee and a mentor relationship before we leave here. That you'll be calling, you'll be texting. Be intentional. Be intentional. Give them some assignment. Teach them. Today, we are going to be intentional. We can't be talking about succession planning and leave it at vague. That should happen. We must be intentional. Leadership is never neutral. Silent and neglect is also dead. Now, this is a big question. If someone study your descendants 4 generations later, what would you want them to discover? Do you want an Edwards legacy or a Juice legacy? Can you humbly ask your neighbor, do you want Edwards legacy or Juice legacy? Then tell him or her, manage your home well. The life you live will determine the legacy you leave. Now let's look at some few Bible leaders who biblically also were mentored. Moses and Joshua, Elisha and Elijah, Jesus Christ and the 12 apostles, Paul and Timothy, David and Solomon, the judges of Israel. So we will not waste much time. We go to Moses trained Joshua. Joshua served Moses faithfully as an assistant. He observed Moses' leadership. Go to the next slide, please. Joshua trained Moses. Joshua served Moses faithfully as an assistant. He observed Moses' leadership, intercession, obedience to God. Moses publicly affirmed Joshua before the people and lay his hands on him. And then Joshua took over. After Moses' death, Joshua led Israel into the promised land. God confirmed Joshua's leadership through victories and miracles. Let's look at Elijah and Elisha. How Elijah trained Elisha. Elijah called Elisha while he was at work and worked closely with him. Elisha followed Elijah faithfully, even refusing to leave him at the end. Elijah allowed Elisha to witness his key spiritual moment. So we are talking about the Gen Z who are taking over. Following, humility, no pride, humbly. Please, when sometimes your mentor is not getting time, don't say you are not getting time for me. You find a way of how best to absorb. So following, humility. Elisha received a double portion of Elijah's spirit. He performed even more miracles
All right, you're still live on Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. We've had to do a detour. We went to the Pentecost Convention Center, where the Just Born Leadership Conference 2026 is happening. We've just heard from the executive chairman. He's still speaking, but we'll come back in-house and wrap up on our conversation on Kenneth Ofori-Atta just briefly, and then we'll go back to the convention center to continue with the executive chairman of the Just Born Group of Companies. It's an extremely important event, and that's why we don't want to miss out on it. There are many, many people out there who are watching and are enjoying his sermon this morning, and so we want them to keep enjoying it. We'll do a wrapping up on Kenneth Ofori-Atta, 5 minutes each by my guest. We have already apologized to them, and then we'll go back to the convention center. So a gentleman and a lady, we sincerely apologize for that. It was meant to be about 10 minutes, but it looks like the sermon was much longer than we anticipated. So please bear with us. So Ellen was on the floor actually. So Ellen, if you can just
we hadn't started.
The Ken Ofori-Atta matter.
Yes.
What you make? Okay. Oh, sorry about that. That's fine. So what do you make of this Ken matter? Just briefly. Yes.
Well, his current issues is that the
yes,
his current issues is more about his stay in America,
right?
His visa matter. So as the Attorney General said, it's not about the extradition matter. Okay. I believe that if the state has a case against him, the state should go to court and prosecute him in absentia, get a verdict, and then proceed to get him back, like we are waiting for Madam Sedinam Tamakulu to come back.
Okay.
And the states, well, led by the Attorney General, should stop disturbing all of us with this whole matter of his visa has been revoked, and it was revoked in June, and we are not too interested in that matter. You know immigration laws more than I do. I don't have any idea the U.S. system. But I believe even with this, he'll find his way through. His lawyers, you say he has a court case.
The former what do you call it, Attorney General.
And he has a court hearing on
January 20.
On this whole matter. And you know how long these matters take. Right. So the state cannot bank its hopes on this immigration matter to bring him back.
Right.
If they believe that he has things to answer to, get him properly convicted and get him back. Otherwise, it's still going to be the same. We said he is corrupt. We said he has stolen. We said he has done this. And the same noise for another 1 year. Another issue I wanted to bring to their attention, just in case they haven't realized it, that in all this and with all their commentary about it, I believe that they are building his case for him. He can easily say that if he comes back to Ghana, you are going to prosecute him. And the Attorney General has made statements. The Deputy AG, in fact, the last time I read from him, he said immediately Kenneth Ofori-Atta gets to the airport, they will arrest him. Things like this, yes, you might have the intention, but must you say it? Must you say it? Because he will gather all this as evidence. Sometimes some of us feel that with this whole hula baloo about it, it's maybe they know they don't have a case and they are trying to get themselves out of it. Okay. But you promised Ghanaians, you promised them, you are the ones who said he's corrupt. And another thing I find quite interesting, that you ask you, what is the MPP doing? I've been asked that question twice, and it just got on my nerves. What is the MPP doing to bring him back? The MPP doing to bring Ken Ofori-Atta back? We are not doing anything. You said he has done something. You have the powers of the state. You have the power, all the powers. If you believe he's truly done something, bring him. Don't come and ask us, the MPP, what we are doing. We are not doing anything. It is not our duty. Ghanaians have not given us that duty. We are not involved. You think he's done something, bring him. Okay. But I just looking at it from afar, I just think that they are just building his case for him to stay longer in the USA. All it doesn't look like the state is too interested in bringing him. What's up with the OSP's matter too? You know, he put a whole fraud alert. Is it?
Oh, you mean the extradition request has happened?
Is it still?
The extradition, no, the Attorney General has done that. So as we speak, the documents and everything have all been ferried to American authorities.
As I said earlier on, I wish them well.
All right. Good to go.
You know, it's interesting days. You know, the first time, you know, I saw the former minister, finance minister, and he was a scriptural quoting minister, you know. And I know he's one of the member of the International Central Gospel Church,
right.
a church which I also attend,
right.
where he occupies the front row. I knew that this was a man that loved God. And then, so when I see the whole scenario, what is unfolding, I liken it to the biblical Jonah. When God was sending him to Nineveh, he was refusing. And he got into the whale's belly, got into Nineveh, and at the end of the day, what he's been sent to do happened. So if he's been asked to come and account for his stewardship, and he's moved to the U.S., he was refusing, and moved to the U.S., and said that he had medical issues and have overstayed his visa. Now he's found himself in the gallows of ice, right? And I'm sure that once he's found himself there and he goes to court on the 20th, it will depend on the matter if the visa is expired, revoked or not. I'm sure the facts will come. When the facts come before, we will know what happened. And the extradition is a government-to-government communication. Government to government. It's not the Attorney General here who is going to prosecute. It is the department there, the State Department. They will prosecute and find out whether he should be brought or not. But however, I think that this is the first time a Minister of State is being called upon to come and give account of your stewardship, and you do not want. None of the finance ministers I've ever seen when I was growing up, from Kwesi Botwe, right to Pepra, right to Tekpe, Dufour, right? During Kufuor's time, even Osafo Mafo and the rest, everybody.
The one who passed away,
Banredu. Everybody had given account of their stewardship. So why is it you alone that you are being asked that come to the very people you told, you were bold and told them that, listen, I'm not taking salary. I'm serving this nation with that salary. And we clap for you that, look, this is a man who wants to serve his nation without even being paid. And they're asking you that we have found things that are questionable. Come and give us answer to it. You are refusing. You don't want. You see, and because if it is true that his visa was revoked, and it's on that basis that he's been arrested by ICE, right? See the more problems you are carrying for yourself. You see, it is a blot for your family to, you know, you have been handcuffed. What do they call it in Akan? A bankawa. Huh? You've been handcuffed. Although you may not be guilty and the rest, but the mere process that even if you have invited, the police will not put a handcuff on you. If you go voluntarily, I want to do it. You know, I was a little bit surprised when the OSP at the time said he was a fugitive. But his own doing today, his own doing, his own conduct, tells you that he's a fugitive. He's a fugitive and you are running. And you see, you are going to leave inheritance. They say a good man leaves inheritance for his children. And is this, you are going to leave for your children and say, your father who was handcuffed, your father who stole our money, your father who refused to account to the good people of Ghana. Is that what he wants? Is that what he wants for his family? That blot on the family. Already, you know, things has not been too well when the narratives are being said. Especially when maybe his great uncle, J.B. Dankwa, all the things that went on between Nkrumah and him, and unfortunately, dying himself. Is that the same thing you want to perpetuate that would leave generations? I think that he must, somebody who used to occupied the front pew and knows the Bible very well should be able to come and account. Because we know, as a Christian, we know this is not our home. We are passing by, and at the end of the day, we will go and give account. So why are you running away? You know, those days I used to, when he comes and the DPP, all these things were happening, I used to ask that, his Bible hasn't gotten to Mark and Luke. Well, Zacchaeus, when Jesus met him, the tax collector, he said, any money I have taken from you, I'll give back in fourfold. He never quoted that. He never, so I was asking, his Bible is not up to that. And I think that this is a serious thing that at the end of the day, he would do his generation, his family, even his party, he would do them good by coming. The mere fact there's allegation against you doesn't mean that you are guilty. Yes, when you come and explain to the people, right? Or you want to be tried in absentia. Once you are tried in absentia, there's conviction. You know, it is not about the money and the rest, but what goes on in your generation, your party. You are leaving a bad legacy for your party, and it will be part of the history of the party. It will be part of the history for this nation. Are you paving the way for your generation, or you are blocking the way for your generation? Because, look, people would ask you, who was your father or your uncle? And they will measure you and say, oh, your dad used to be a thief, or the one who was jailed, or this man. Is that the narrative we want? Listen, I believe that all that they are talking about the SML and the rest, in all, what role did he play? Because if I look at the SML, I've read the report, SML report. I've read it. Oforiatta wasn't a director of SML.
But even before, because the matter is in court, so maybe let's not.
No, yes.
Yeah,
the matter is, is in court. But I'm saying that if you have done something, you played some roles. You see, why don't you come in?
But you see,
defend it.
Is it whether he's guilty or innocent, or it's just that he doesn't trust that he'll be treated fairly?
No, but Article 19. Listen.
His lawyers have been talking to Dominic Ayeni.
Yes, and his lawyers have been talking. Even his lawyers
concerned and disturbed that their clients may be manhandled.
Manhandled in what way?
So
listen, you see,
had to assure them that
I'm telling you that anybody who had been a former minister in this country, it is only this country sometimes you find different strokes for different folks, right? They give you that honor that you have served this nation before, the preferential treatment that is given to them, right? So I don't think any Ghanaian or anybody in power would say, I want to maltreat this man. No, the only thing that happens is that they put you before court. Article 19 guarantees that right.
Okay.
Fair trial.
Okay.
Right? You've been guaranteed fair trial. Look, nobody would see Ken Oforiatta on the street and stone him.
Okay.
And says that this man is alleged to be corrupt. So no,
all right,
it won't happen.
Okay.
Right? So I think that it will serve him well.
All right.
It will serve his family, and I think his senior brother, the former president, should be able to speak to him, not from his individual point, but as a family, as people from Chebi, because if not, that blood will go down, will cascade down.
He's really spent a lot of time
on
the
will go down. And I think that he should come and just
face the music.
And face the music.
All right.
It's as simple as that. So if not, his dead body will even be rejected by the land of his birth.
Victor Kojoga Adawudu is a private legal practitioner and also a member of the NDC's legal directorate. I want to thank him very much for his time. Thank you so very much, Victor. And also Ellen Amadekun is an aide and also one of the spokespersons to Dr. Mahmoud Bamia and also a member of the NPP's communications team. Ellen, thank you. 31st.
involved, get passion, get interest. Leadership is not giving. You search and create it and work on it. Be inspired. Develop your mindset. Get involved. Strive to learn. Run. Be passionate. Wake up early. Dream about the business. Wake up early. Start thinking about the business. And as you are thinking about the business, the Lord will lay in your mind, on your heart, some good things about this. Yearn and desire to be a leader. And when you do that,